What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show. The Blazers today, Eric, upgraded their tank. They out-tanked the worst team in the league at home on a day where the Blazers traded CJ McCollum. We'll maybe discuss like 5 minutes of this game, but I mean,
I'm sure most people don't care.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to give you guys what you want. Chris isn't here for graphics, so we don't have any player cards or whatnot. You know, we'll just touch vaguely on this game. I didn't watch most of it until the fourth quarter. I went and played in Rec League. Stream went a little bit late because I was dehydrated. I had to go get some water. So, believe it or not, shocker, I'm drinking water on this stream. I need to drink more of it, to be honest. So, you know, just chugging some water, making sure I'm good to go for the stream. Streamed 3 hours earlier today. If you missed it, you know, it's a pretty good stream talking about the CJ McCollum trade. Went live in the morning, 8 a.m. They broke it very early today, Eric, unfortunately. So, you know, I'm on like 3 hours of sleep and exhausted because it's the first time I've exercised in a month. I played some basketball. So, you know, I want to have fun this stream. This team sucks. The Magic suck. Somehow the Blazers suck more. And that's a good thing. Yep. They're going to chase that draft pick.
Yeah, perfect game, man.
Perfect. I mean, I fully embraced it, and the team has embraced it, the organization has embraced it, and this team is just brutal to watch. So, you know, there were some bright spots from this game. Greg Brown gets some run, and he was solid. Had a solid night, career high in points and rebounds, so good for him. Eric, how you doing, man? What are your thoughts on this game? And just in general, I'll let you kind of guide this thing here, man.
Let me read off the donation first. Rip City 208, $2 donation. CJ McCollum is why we lost this game. Because we didn't have him, or what?
Facts.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we probably win this game if we have CJ tonight. But yeah, this is going to be pretty much what it's like the rest of the season. I'm just looking for Ant to continue his development. I was very impressed in the fourth quarter. He had at least 3 drives in the last few minutes where he got into the defense and just threw a laser pass out to a wide open shooter, and we were clanging all of them. We missed a ton of threes in the fourth quarter. But I like seeing Ant's development there. And he had a nice drive and dunk tonight, so you like to see him get to the rim. Shot a few free throws when I saw. I don't know how many he finished with. He only had 3 free throws, so I saw all 3 of them. They were in the same play, basically. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so still not getting to the line, but you like to see him try to take over the game and lead a team. And that's what I'm looking for on both ends of the court. His defense improving and him leading the team on offense and running the offense and all that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. And then guys like Watford and Brown just getting extended minutes and seeing what they could do.
Yep, agree. So 7 for 17. You know,
center of town.
There's a good old ESPN ad.
Nope. Daisy's got lap.
It's like a Western style. I'm just going to start letting those play just for entertainment. Too bad Eric can't hear them. Good old Geico ad. Anyway, apologies for that. Simon, 7 for 17 from the field. He started off, 1 for 8?
Yeah, he struggled. He only had like 9 points going into the fourth quarter, I think.
Mm-hmm. So it was just nice for him to bounce back and get a little bit of a rhythm. So he finished 6 for 9. So that's a good end to that game. McLemore 5 for 11 from the field. He's 3 for 8 from 3. So those two played well. Nurkic struggled. He was 4 for 16. And
you take 3 threes.
0 for 3 from 3. I mean, Nurkic, I don't expect to be fully engaged for the rest of the season, and I can't blame him. Mm-hmm. But he's also playing for a payday, so maybe that won't be the case. I mean, they just traded his guy CJ, you know? Like, CJ got traded today, so for somebody that's been here for a while, I'm sure that was, you know, a little bit tough on Nurkic. Justice Winslow was solid, 5 for 12 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3. He had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, doing his best Rocco impersonation, Eric.
Yeah, I don't like how many threes he took, but outside of that, yeah, he's fine.
7 threes, man, that's disgusting, yeah. I mean, honestly, I like how many threes he took because that's not going to lead to winning, you know?
That's true, yeah. But, yeah.
But I don't understand why he played 33 minutes and Watford only plays 20. Brown only plays 19. That's going to frustrate me for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
If that continues to be the case.
Yeah, for sure. I have an interesting strategy. I wanted to get your take on this.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right. So, any players after Thursday that are here and are planning to move forward, I think we should play them as many minutes as possible. I'm talking like 30 minutes a game with Keldon Blevins and just like act like Keldon's Dame, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then next year we play those same 30 minutes and they actually have Dame instead of Keldon Blevins. And the game for all these young guys is going to be so much easier because Dame's going to be there instead of Keldon. So it'll be like we go from being like the worst team in the league to like these guys will just all kill it because like it's Dame instead of Blevins. Like I think that's like an awesome strategy so I would just play Blevins with like Nurk and Ant and all those guys, and then next year like we're going to be like the best team of all time because the game's just going to slow down for everyone.
This is a phenomenal concept, and I am absolutely on board. You just had to say Blevins and 30 minutes a game, and Blevins is Dame, and you had me. You absolutely had me. Yeah. I mean, like, you want to give your fans a product that they can enjoy, right, Eric? So if you're not going to be good, you might as well just make Blevins Dame, and fans, like, I would enjoy watching that. I would enjoy seeing Blevins try and be Dame. That would be entertaining to me. I would be entertained. That would get me tuning into games, honestly, not even kidding. If they said, yeah, we're starting Clevin Blevins at point guard today, I'd have been on board with it. I would maybe watch more of this game, you know? I don't want to see him standing in the corner. This dude doesn't deserve to be standing in the corner right now because he can help the team if he's Dame. Because then when they have Dame, I love that. I love that concept. That's
and
the best
it's
thing
like,
you've ever thought
man,
of.
come on, Phillips. Like, it's so hard to play with this guy. But then it's like Mr. Miyagi and Karate Kid. Like, next year, he'll be like, all year, like, what is this crap? Like, I'm not learning anything. And then all of a sudden, like, the light bulb will go off next year and be like, wow, this is awesome.
Dude, I'm down. I'm absolutely down, you know? And, like, maybe he'll accidentally make a good play once in a while and it'll be amazing, you know what I mean? Like, just like Dame making a bad play, right? So, yeah, I'm down for that concept. You should submit that to the front office. I don't know if you should submit it to Joe Cronin, to Burt Gold, or Jody Allen, but you should submit it somewhere.
Someone, GK says, a 3 wins the series. It's Blevins who got the shot on. Blevins. Good.
I should edit Blevins into the... So you guys know the audio that I have on the intro animation for the stream, and we have that Dame call. I should just edit Blevins into it, and it'll sound awful. Yeah. It would sound funny. I might do that. Maybe I'll do that.
Sorry, guys. I just have to try to find a way to make this.
If this stream gets 200 likes, I'll do it. Okay, that's the bar. All right. I'll put Blevins in. You know, here's the pass to Blevins. You know, instead of Roy. I got you. I'll put him in every announcer call. And I was supposed to have more for that intro. I just kind of got lazy with it, but dude, I am down. So if this stream hits... Look, see, the likes just went from 28 to 48, Eric. The people want it.
Well, now you have to do it if it gets
Dude,
there.
I should have started selling out for likes earlier this year. Now we're at the point where we're losing to the Orlando Magic and Job Blazers. So now I'm down to sell out for likes. We've finally gotten low enough that I'm down to sell out to likes. So, anyway, what else you got for us today, Mr. Brandt?
Yeah, obviously horrible game from Nurk. I thought Elby played all right, 11, 9, and 4. Did a lot.
His hair was very floppy today.
Yeah, I mean, once again, didn't shoot well, but that seems to be par for the course. But he does a lot of nice things out there. Like I said, Winslow was fine, other than the shooting of threes, but don't want to see that too often. I do like his ability to grab a rebound and push the tempo.
Wait, do you know who led our team in plus minus today?
It was... they're all negative.
Yeah, but who is the least negative?
Kells Blevs.
He is a -5.
Our Damian Lillard replacement. There we go.
Hell yeah. Anyway, I just noticed that. That's phenomenal.
Dennis Smith wasn't very good. Watford kind of struggled. Did get 8 shots, though. Brown played really well early, and then kind of got three happy. I felt like, much like Winslow, and then he also shot 7 threes. You like to see that number come down a little bit.
Yeah, I like that he made 2 of them, and then 5 for 6 from the free throw line, because some of his free throws this year looked awful, so I like seeing that.
He did have a nice cut in the first half. He was playing with Nurkic, and Nurk found him on a cut, and he had a nice dunk. So, like to see him cut more versus spot up at the 3-point line. But, I mean, other than that, what more can you really take from this game? Our defense wasn't great, especially in the last few minutes.
Yeah. So, we shot 39% from the field. No, not 39. 35%. I can't give us too much credit. 35% from the field. 29% from 3. 77% from the free throw line, though. We've been struggling on free throws. They shot 50% from 3. 19 for 38. 49% from the field. They only got to the line 8 times, and they were 6 for 8. That's why this game was even close in the first place. But Chuma Okeke has a good game. Cole Anthony has a good game. Mo Bamba 6 for 8, 1 for 3 from 3, solid game. Wendell Carter Jr. is 2 for 3 from 3. Franz Wagner is 3 for 4 from 3 with 7 assists and 9 boards. I mean, here's the thing. All right, this is the perfect game for today, Eric, because of that Pelicans pick we traded for, and we thought during the draft time, the Magic slightly reached on Franz Wagner, right? Mm-hmm. And he was with the 8th overall pick. And this year he's averaging 16 points per game. He can pass, he can rebound, he defends solidly. I just thought it was intriguing that we're going up against him, and people saying, that pick isn't you're not gonna get a rookie that's gonna help us or whatever.
Not for 5 years.
Yeah, Franz Wagner would help this team. Franz Wagner off the bench would be a really good role player for this team.
I mean, we could name 10 to 15 guys from last draft that could help us. And
yeah, at that point or below, Herb Jones would help this team. So I thought it was interesting to go up against him tonight. He was only 5 for 14 for the field, but shot the 3-ball well. 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He had a solid game, just struggled inside the arc. But I like the pace he plays with. So, we'll talk this trade, and we'll have a Twitter space, and that'll be a little bit longer than normal for post-game shows. And I figure all of you guys are going to want to talk about the trade. We didn't do a post-game show earlier in the CJ trade stream, so we'll give you guys a chance to give your thoughts on that. Anyway,
a Twitter space.
Twitter space. Show. What did I say?
Post-game show.
No, I said longer Twitter space than we normally have on a post-game show. I think that's what I said, dude. I don't know. I didn't sleep enough, so I might be butchering my words still. If you were in the first stream today, I was doing that a lot, so hopefully I'm better now, but I still might be. Feel free to correct me whenever you want. Anyway, where do you want to go now with this post-game show, Eric?
Let's just go into the trade talk. Does anyone else have any questions about the game, or do you want to move on to talking about other things?
Yeah, we'll let chat decide. This is a democracy now. You guys have earned it.
Anyone who has any game questions, get those out of the way right now.
Yep, and then we'll move on. Joey, Tori is with an E, my guy. Appreciate it. Every time I see my name in chat, I swear 80% of the time it's misspelled, which is fine, but I don't really care. I should start being a stickler on it, though.
GK, that's not a trade question, but I like cookies and cream and mint chocolate chip are probably my 2 favorites.
I don't really like ice cream on its own. You put some peach crisp, some hot, fresh made peach crisp with vanilla ice cream is the best dessert ever invented. All right? Tell me if you're vibing with me, chat, on that. Great question, GK. Any game questions that you want to answer?
I don't think anyone wants a breakdown of any of this game, Macwell.
They want dessert breakdown. Sude, you're vibing with me. Cool, man. All right, so Alex Wolf, if you donate $10, I'll do a stream with a candy necklace just for you. All right, because we're entertainers now. This is now a comedy channel.
The game is bad, says Chris S. when you're talking ice cream 10 minutes into the stream.
Oh my goodness! Imagine saying that about Blazers at home versus the Magic. We're going to be talking about ice cream 10 minutes into the stream. We're going to be like, dang, the season's going that well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't have a chance to do Brant's breakdown because, much like Tori, I decided to play my rec league.
Oh, did
tonight.
you? How'd that go? How'd you do?
Went pretty well. We blew out the team we were playing, so yeah, went good.
Nice. How'd you play?
How
many threes you hit?
I didn't shoot a single three.
I'm disappointed. You need to become a unicorn, Eric.
I don't think I shot a single shot.
What?
Yeah.
They're freezing you out? They're not utilizing their best player?
I'm a playmaker, man. I'm like Dennis
I'm
Smith.
disappointed
I don't shoot.
So when Chris calls Dennis Smith Jr. a washed big,
yeah,
he's talking
me.
about you.
Yeah.
So
I can shoot, I just don't.
you should be a multifaceted offensive threat, Eric.
But no,
you
man,
got that ability.
Between my lack of conditioning and my knees right now, it's hard to run up and down the court. But yeah,
Same.
I get the ball in the post or run pick and roll, and I always pass out of it. So I don't know. I can get to the basket all I want. It's not really. I like passing more than shooting though.
GK says we have a rec league team too. They're called the Portland Trail Blazers.
Yeah, pretty much.
I hadn't touched a basketball in a month. I stepped on the court tonight. The first possession, the ball felt like a cube in my hands.
Yeah.
Like it felt so weird to like hold
feeling.
a basketball. I was like, but I was open from three, so I was like, screw it. I might airball this. I'm gonna shoot it. Made it. I started 7 for 11 from three. The ball felt horrible on like every three I shot, and everything was going in. It was so weird. Couple of them were like step backs off the dribble, like that type of thing. I was feeling it. And then like, because I played 2 games, and then I don't think I hit a 3 the second half, and then the entirety of next game. I think I was probably like 0 for 11. So, I'll take it, I guess. I'll take a little like hot stretch. I threw some dimes like always. We pass here at Blazers Uprise. No iso ball. So, yeah, no, I started off pretty good. I was like the opposite of Ant tonight. So,
yep. It's kind of funny. We care more about our rec league than the actual game that happened tonight.
Yeah.
But
I got 2 dubs tonight. So,
yeah, nice. Yeah, I probably would have had like 15 assists but man, I don't know what it was, but we were missing every layup.
Really?
But yeah.
Dang, man.
But
you gotta tell your guys to dunk. Get on them like fans get on Nurkic.
Yeah. One of my really good friends has subbed the last 2 weeks. He's not normally on the team, but we just have this chemistry. Like if his guy just turns his head a little bit, I just kick out to him and he gets his 3 off really easily. So we have like just this amazing, it's like an unspoken thing. We just know each other so well when we play. I don't know if you have anyone like that, but
yeah. Definitely. Most of the time they're shooters though that just know how to relocate.
Yeah. It's so fun playing with people like that. So yeah, I just sit there and wait for him to get for his guy to turn his head a little bit, and I just zip a pass over his head. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, my favorite play today, I had a pick and roll read that in like a type of pick and roll pass I don't think I've ever thrown before. It was like going left off the pick and roll, picked up the ball, pass faked, and then like wrapped it around to the right through like a couple people. Like once the big was already like basically at the baseline. I was happy with that. Anyway, that's your basketball talk. We're talking basketball games today, Eric. Anyway, let's talk trades. I didn't see any questions, but I didn't really look that hard.
Priest is about to get kidding on this channel, man. Don't ever compare me to Westbrook.
Yeah, that's fighting words right there, man. I'm disappointed with you. Let's do Tankathon. You guys want to see the Tankathon?
And the difference is Westbrook would keep shooting even if he was missing all his shots.
Facts.
He wouldn't pull a Ben Simmons and not shoot.
Facts. You guys want a Tankathon?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do a Tankathon.
It's fun because we have 2 picks possibly now.
I know. I just wish we got could get the Pelicans pick if it was top 3.
Yeah.
That would have been the icing on the cake, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because then there's no way they were going to do that, though. I don't blame them. All right. We got to go to this slide. We won't have any game scores tonight, but... What were you going to say?
I have some Jake L. Fisher comments that may kind of contradict that, but
Contradict what?
that we couldn't have gotten maybe more out of that.
Yeah, he said we sold low on value. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's have fun before we get depressed, all right? So,
All right.
right now, Portland has a 26% chance at the top 4, 6% chance of the number 1 overall pick. They're only a half a game behind San Antonio for 7th. Did San Antonio play today? It says they won 1, so... Look at us, lost 6. Look how green that is.
No, San Antonio did not play today.
Yeah, well, we gained a game on them in the past couple days, I guess. We're looking super green. New Orleans is looking red. They've won 4 in a row, right? This is Tankathon, so winning is bad. You look at everybody else, lost. Oh, Orlando won a game. Good for them. We are only 8.5 games out of that, but the odds are even for the top 3, right? 52% chance top 4, 14% chance number 1 overall pick. The third worst team is 3 games back, only 5.5 better than us. So if we are really this bad where we can't even beat Orlando, right?
Man, in the last, week and a half, we've lost to Orlando and Oklahoma City twice. That's nice.
Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, we're only 3 games out of 4th, which would give us a 48% chance of top 4, 12% chance of number 1 overall pick. So the tank route is viable. It's very viable. We just obviously, once we get there, we need some luck. But as far as the New Orleans pick, 20% chance of top 4. So this means a 20% chance that we don't get it, where it sits right now. 80% chance that we do. Okay? And no, we don't care about the number 1 percentage for the New Orleans pick because we wouldn't get it. So I'm going to simulate the lottery, and we're going to scroll up. So what's funny is, if we have New Orleans pick and we keep it, right? Don't trade it for anything. We'd be hoping to see, for 9, we'd be hoping to see us, and then 8, we'd be hoping that we don't see us, all right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to reveal the lottery. Got Charlotte, 28 and 27, but in the lottery, Atlanta.
You just don't want to see those down arrows at all.
Yep, exactly. Lakers, Washington. I mean, see, if this happened, would that be good news or bad news?
I don't know how to feel. It would be bad because someone below us moved up.
Yeah, but we'd also keep New Orleans' pick.
Yeah, I mean, getting the 10th pick would be good, but that's very unlikely that we're not 9th then.
Yeah, well, we will see. Up, Eric! It's Sacramento.
What?
Moving down 3.
There's 3 teams below Sacramento that went up. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I love this simulation already.
Yeah.
We got the 10th pick, and
this means we need to keep it. So we got the 10th pick. Dude, that would be my most happiest on-stream moment of the year, doing the draft lottery sim if this happens, all right? So then, at this point, we're just chilling until the top 4. 8th, Indiana, that sucks for them. 7th, OKC, that sucks for them. 6th, Houston. 5th, Detroit. So it's Orlando, it's Portland, it's... I don't know the other teams in this. San Antonio? And I don't remember the 4th team. All right, so...
Wait.
What?
Did New Orleans' other pick go up?
The Lakers one?
Yeah.
No, the Lakers are 12th
to
Memphis.
It's down there, Memphis. Yeah.
So, dude, it's interesting with all the traded picks this year. So 4th is New York. All right, so at this point, I'm
we
thrilled.
We have a top 3 pick at number 10. This is best case scenario right now.
3rd overall pick. I don't mind if it's us because then we can't screw it up, and it's not us, it's San Antonio. 2nd overall pick is us. Dude, I'm chilling. With that. 1st overall pick is Orlando. Orlando would honestly, I feel like would lean Chet to reunite him with Suggs.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they played together in high school.
Man, 2007 draft lottery. I was a young 20-something working at Office Depot, and I had to call my friend to hold his phone up to the TV while the lottery was going on because I was working. Mm-hmm. And I did laps around the store yelling after we moved up to number 1. Yeah, I was kind of hoping we got number 2 that year too, just to take the pressure off of it, like you said. But But yeah, it was definitely an awesome moment. Like, yeah, one of the greatest moments. It's kind of sad, but one of the greatest moments of my Blazer fandom was getting the winning the draft lottery. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, if the draft turns out like this, man, this is one way that we can turn this retooling around very quickly.
Yep. 2nd and 10th overall pick. I mean, you could make some things happen with that via trade, or I mean, you could take. So if we got 2nd, so I know you like are really high on Johnny Davis, but if we got 2nd and let's say Jabari went number 1, who would you take at number 2 for Portland?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Cheddar Bankero, I think, in that situation.
Who would you go with?
Oh, that's so tough. I like them both. I'd probably take Bankero, but I want to see both of them in the tourney and see how they handle like the pressures of the tourney. My problem is both of them have such loaded talent around them that it's not like other top players that have to like carry a team, and you get to see like a Steph Curry and Davidson take on the world, that CJ and Lehigh, beating Duke and stuff like that to raise their draft stock. So that's the only problem for me, is not getting to see that kind of stuff, but until I see that kind of stuff making a firm thing. But yeah, I would definitely hope that Orlando did not take Jabari in that situation.
Yeah. So I forgot who you said. You said you'd take who?
I'd probably take Bankero at this moment, but it's razor thin. I like both of those guys a lot, and I don't think we can go wrong either way.
Yeah. Chat. I gave chat a chat poll, Eric. Right now it's 58% Chet, 42% Bankero. Chat. I'm so proud of you. I might cry. Why does Chet scare you, Jackson? I don't get it. But then 10th is I would love AJ Griffin, but that's too low, unfortunately. At 10th though, you're looking at like, let me look at their mock draft. 10th
with Tari Eason, Jalen Duren.
I'd probably trade down and try and get it, like trade down from like 10 to. I mean, you could take Tari Eason at 10. Honestly, There's really nobody in that range that I'm thrilled with.
Yeah, I like Keegan Murray a lot, but the problem is if you take both power forwards. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we need 2 power forwards, I guess, but like, I don't know if that's the best strategy.
Yeah, I just think defensively, Eason would be the move there.
An Eason like Chet front court, man.
Yeah.
We'd be so good defensively, and I think we'd be good enough with Dame and Ants and whoever our center is offensively to, kind of counteract some of their. Well, I mean, Chet's not a burden on offense. I meant Tari's shooting, I guess, but he has the potential to be a lockdown defender, like a really good defender. So
yeah, and he has some off the dribble game too. So I mean that would be the move in my opinion. And Tari Eason's a Seattle guy, so maybe he would want to stay in the Northwest. I don't know, but yeah, that would be fun. I'll keep this chat poll going. Anyway, that's draft talk. We got that out of the way. That's always fun. If you have any draft questions, feel free to ask them before we move on. Is Chet really that amazing?
Well, check out his shooting splits.
I'll read him off. I'll read off his. With pride, as a true Gonzaga fan, I will read off his percentages. Okay? He's averaging 15 points per game, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3.5 blocks per game in 26 minutes per game. He's shooting 64% from the field, which includes 75% from 2 and 46% from 3. His true shooting percentage is 74%. If you like box plus minus, his box plus minus is 16.
That's insane, man.
Like, yeah. He can pass, he can handle the ball, he can block shots, he can defend on the perimeter. If he fills out, he's going to be a freaking problem. Like, if he's able to become like a somewhat strong player, if he's able to fill out, it doesn't even have to be like Giannis, but if he's able to fill out maybe like close to what AD has done, dude's going to be a freaking problem. He's so skilled for being a 7'1" big.
What's up, Taylor Packer? He asks, what makes Jabari surefire number 1 over Bankaro? Bankaro looks like a surefire NBA stud from what I've seen. Chet and Jabari look more raw. I mean, I don't see that. Jabari is already, at 6'10", he's a lights out shooter too, just like Chet. Maybe not quite as good, but he probably doesn't get quite as good at open looks as
he shoots more like off the dribble too.
And he's already got like a turnaround jumper that no one can stop. It's kind of like it's kind of in between like a Durant Aldridge type jumper that he has like a super high release on. Mm-hmm. It's money. Those kind of skills, that kind of jumper always translate to the NBA. Like there's those at any level, that kind of shot will translate. And also, out of the three, I think he's the best perimeter defender. Probably maybe the worst interior defender as of now. But perimeter defense at 6'10", moves his feet extremely well. I just think and this guy has like improved a lot in a short amount of time as well. So I think he obviously has a good work ethic. So I just think in terms of bankable qualities and stuff like that, that's why I like Jabari so much, is because I can count on his he'll be a good 3-point shooter no matter what, because his range will translate to the NBA. He's got a dependable go-to move from like 15 feet that he can get to, so he just needs to improve finishing around the rim. Obviously he's not great at that right now, but everything else about him just screams star to me.
Yeah. I like Chet and Jabari over Bankaro because Bankaro is more questionable with his 3-point shot, and he's more questionable defensively. Mm-hmm. Now, if he's able to like hit threes off the dribble at a high rate and be a good defender, he definitely has a chance to be the best player from this class because he's 6'10", agile, moves really well with the ball, really creative off the dribble, playmaking upside, can run pick and rolls. You know what I mean? Like he has that sort of package. That's why people like Bankaro. But Chet and Jabari right now are the clear-cut top two for me. Bankaro's not that far behind, but they're the clear-cut top two because honestly, I'm starting to like Chet a little bit more. And I'm trying so hard not to be biased. Because if I say that, I know there's going to be 5 people in chat saying, you're biased. You're a Gonzaga fan. Of course you like Chet. I am trying so hard not to be biased. His combination of being able to defend on the perimeter as well as protect the rim I like it. And I think he can be really good, like, playing any pick and roll scheme. Right? Like, in drop, I think he can be a really good drop big. I think he can be really good at getting out there and pressuring, trapping, hedging, whatever, and recovering quickly. And he's a guy that if you switch out onto guards, like, he does a good job just keeping guys in front of him. He switches his hips well. Like, he's the ideal defensive big man. And he can play the 4 or the 5 defensively. So, that's why I think he's a 4 to start. Because he's skinny, he has to put on weight, so I think he's going to be a 4 to start, and then long term, I think his best position might be a 5, just because of his skill set at that position. But I'd probably take Chet over Jabari because I like his passing a little bit more too. Like Jabari's jumper is just clean. What I'm looking from Jabari is I just want him to get to the rim a little bit more. Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Like, I want him to get to the rim a little bit more, and I want him to collapse the defense and play make a little bit more. And, like, Jabari passes. It's not a situation where he's a black hole by any means. I just want to see the extent of his playmaking ability for others. I want to see if he can, if he can run a pick and roll, if he can make some more advanced reads. Yeah. And I want to see the same out of Chet, too, So that's kind of what I'm looking for those guys.
It's weird because, you hear the term 3-level scorer all the time. And Jabari's like a 2-level scorer, but most people, if they're a 2-level scorer, it would be 3-pointer and inside, not mid-range and inside, or mid-range and 3-pointer, right? So, I guess in my mind, that's the easiest to improve would be just, taking an extra dribble and getting to the rim or getting by someone. I feel like he's athletic enough to do that, but yeah, he does need some work there. Yeah,
the thing that's annoying me is when people make it about race with Chet? Because I've seen this in the comment section multiple times. Like, oh, Blazers drafting white guys, or Blazers love their white dudes, is a comment in chat right now and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not going to take that into account. You know what I mean? People try and make the point like, oh, I've heard this, Eric. White American-born big men never pan out in the NBA. Right? And then it's like the list guys, Myers Leonard's usually on that list, right? But none of them have been like Chet. None of them have had the size, skill, wingspan, defensive ability of a Chet Holmgren. So I can't knock Chet. A, for that reason, because it's ridiculous to knock a guy because he's white. But people legitimately do it, and it bothers me. And then B, like, he's nothing. We haven't seen anything like Chet. And some people say Porzingis, but Chet's still different to me than Porzingis. He's just a completely unique player. So I don't think you can... I think if you passed on him for the reasons that some people suggest passing on him, that's a huge mistake.
Yeah. Was Chet born in America?
Yeah. He's from Minnesota.
Yeah.
He and Jalen Suggs are from Minnesota.
Hyperprime said he's not American. I don't know what that means.
Hyperprime, what is he then?
So maybe born in Canada?
I'll look it up. Chet Holmgren birthplace. But I need to watch more, like, if we keep this pick, we'll see after the deadline. He was born in Minneapolis. Or Minneapolis, yeah.
Hyperprime with the misinformation, jeez.
Come on, Hyper. Yeah, so I need to do more research around, like, the 10th pick. If we get the New Orleans Pelicans pick and it's late lotto, I need to pay more attention to guys like that. So, yeah. Anyway, that's draft talk. What do you want to move on to, Eric?
Well, I saw this question several times, so I just want to answer it from... well, I mean, if you watched the stream earlier, Tori's prediction is to get ready for Jeremy Grant because that's going to be
I'm not as confident as I was earlier.
Oh, let me read up JM1231's donation, $2. As a diehard Dookie, I'm leaning Chet, but love Ivy.
I like Ivy, too. It's just, do we need a third guard?
I love Ivy and Johnny Davis so much. But yeah, unfortunately with the Blazer situation, I don't think either of them is right. I mean, I guess if we dump Hart, like, people are predicting us to save cap space, which is freaking stupid. If we do that, I'm going to be so mad. But if we do that, I guess we still need a third guard for those guys, right? So you might as well just take best player available. But it's lining up perfect for us where I saw someone else say this. Sorry, I forgot who it was. The three best players in this draft are projected power forwards, at least initially, and two of them are for sure power forwards. And that is like the biggest thing we need right now is like a really good power forward. We can make do with Nas as our small forward. We can make do with Nurk as our center maybe, but like we need that power forward, like that star power forward. We've never really had that in the Dame era, so I would just love to see him play with a big like Chet or Jabari, man. It'd be so cool to see him do that.
Yeah. I mean, the draft's going to be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it. Normally, like, nobody cares about those streams here in Blazer Land, but this year it's obviously going to be different. So, and then the Blazers are making sure of that with that loss.
Yeah. So, the Jeremy Grant thing, Crime Stop at 33 kept asking, is it possible we could get Grant without letting go of our lottery pick, use the TPE, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Keon Johnson? That would be the best case scenario. Maybe you have to throw in some seconds as well. We do know what seconds we got in the trade now.
Oh, do we? Which ones are they?
So we got New Orleans 2027 second, which is fine.
It's so long. It's so long.
And then we also got the more favorable, because they currently have our 2026 second, right?
Yeah.
So that was from the Greg Brown trade. We traded a future second in cash, I think, for the 43rd pick, was it?
Yeah.
And we took Greg Brown. So they had our 2026 second. So now we didn't just get our pick back. We get the more favorable between New Orleans 2026 and our 2026. So that's cool.
Okay. Do we
So
know the... Go ahead.
we don't know the protection. I don't know if anyone's seen that. I know the initial protection, but I don't know if it doesn't fall between 5 and 14, what it turns into other than a future first.
Yeah. Could it turn into a 2023 New Orleans? Oh, their pick situation is really weird.
They might have to word it to where if they keep one of the two picks, then it could be that. I don't know how they would word it, but like maybe they could word it that way. But as to his question, I would love for that to be the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we got either using the TPE or Bledsoe as, the matching salary, and then we just attach these small contracts, and the trade still works either way, but like we can make that happen. I would. That's the only way I would like getting Jeremy Grant. If we get him and have to give up the New Orleans pick we got today to do so, I'm going to be kind of mad. And I feel like that's an overpay. But I feel like some team is going to overpay for Jeremy Grant because he's one of the last dominoes to fall now. And there's all these teams out there that have been interested in him, including us. And I just don't think, basically a couple young players that aren't very highly thought of prospects would do it. Now, it could change if Detroit was really high on one of those two guys, and that would make the initial trade for Keon Johnson worth it if he has first-round pick and a value like that.
Okay, I don't think it would make it worth it, but at least it make sense.
Right, makes sense. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. So yeah. I would love if that's the case, Crime-Stopper, but I just have a hard time believing with how many teams are interested in Jeremy Grant and what the asking price is that they would just be like, oh, you know what, we'll just give him to you for a couple of low prospects. I don't see it happening. Would love to be wrong. Like I said, maybe we could throw in a bunch of seconds since we've gotten 3 in the last 2 days for it, but yeah.
I had a Detroit fan tell me that they would take, where are the Pistons right there? That they would take Keon Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Where is he, man? Is he not on here?
They haven't updated the trade yet.
Okay. So Keon Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and our second-round pick this year. I had a Pistons fan tell me he would take it. But the Pistons fans also said he doesn't think his GM will take it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this works. This works. That's the CJ McCollum TPE, and we still...
It's weird because Portland announced the trade, but yeah, I don't know if it's... Well, obviously they haven't done their physicals yet.
Yeah. I mean, they don't even have CJ's TPE here, but they said it applied to Jeremy Grant, so I don't know. They're in the process, but if you can do Keon Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and a second for Jeremy Grant, I know I haven't been high on Jeremy Grant, but I think you do that. I think you just say screw it and do it. And hope that it works out, and hope Jeremy Grant wants to be here, and like hope maybe you can flip him in the offseason for something if it doesn't necessarily work out the best, but then like what's his value there? You know what I mean? Yeah. So part of me would do that just so that first trade could make sense, you know?
Yeah. So I don't know how many people trust Jake L. Fisher or whatever, but he's becoming a very I don't know if he's reliable or not, but he's definitely putting himself out there with a lot of information and stuff, has little spaces or his halftime app that he goes on and talks. So in terms of Jeremy Grant, he said that Portland's interest is real. It's not just some ancillary thing, he said. He said he heard it from 7 separate sources that we are trying to get Jeremy Grant with some sort of thing like that. And that's like I'm kind of worried that since it wasn't made into part of this trade, that we maybe are going to end up having to overpay for him, which would be a mistake in my opinion.
We were supposed to make other teams overpay for our guys, so if we didn't do that and then we overpay for Jeremy Grant, it's just a huge L.
Yeah. And I want to ask you a question about that after we get through this stuff, but apparently it's much like we heard about the summer we traded for Rocco. Dame had a list of guys, including Robert Covington, Aaron Gordon, players like that he was high on and wanted to possibly pursue, right? And so I've heard from Jake L. Fisher, not me hearing, that's him telling us that that's one of the guys Dame wants, and that would make him a little more happier with this rebuild. So I don't know how you feel about that, but in my mind, I think you either have to commit to going young unless you get a better player than Jeremy Grant, or you take a Jeremy Grant if you can get him for like those assets that we talked about, like not having to give up that New Orleans pick, then I can maybe justify it. But I would not overpay for him. And yeah, so hopefully that's not the case. And that, Detroit at the deadline, we have the best offer, I guess. I find it hard to believe, but I feel like some team is going to give up a first for him, and unless they value Keon and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I just don't know if that's going to be enough value back. Although our first, if we continue to suck like we have, could be 34 or 35. So if it's a contending team, like the Cavs traded their first lottery protected to the Indiana Pacers, and that pick's probably going to be in the 20s somewhere. So maybe if that's the best offer they're getting and they can get two young guys and a high second, that probably beats a first round pick in terms of value. So maybe we can hold out hope on that. But I just don't want to sit here, like you said, talking about overpaying for a kind of role player-ish type player versus giving all our role-ish type players away for nothing, basically.
Yeah. That's the problem I have, man, is if it's a situation where we turn CJ, Norm, Rocco, Nance into Grant, Keon Johnson, some second-round picks, Eric Bledsoe, and Justice Winslow, that's a huge L.
Yeah.
That's such a huge L, and I can't believe somebody would, justify that. I can't believe somebody would think that's a good trade deadline.
Mm-hmm. Or even worse, we give up that first and, more somehow, another good player.
And Keon, so it's literally just those four straight up for Grant in that situation.
Yeah.
We heard rumors that Detroit would have maybe traded Grant for Norman Powell, straight up.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's if that was possible, I assume it wasn't, but if that was possible, or maybe you have to give a couple seconds or whatever, you basically just gave away CJ, Nance, and Rocco for nothing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just ridiculous. That's what I struggle with. It's I feel like they could have executed whatever their plan is better. And I don't know their plan, but I feel like they didn't execute it right.
So Casey Holdall tweeted an article about Damian Lillard on I don't know if you want me to read any of this.
Go ahead, whatever you think.
All right. So this is Casey Holdall. Give credit to Casey Holdall on forwardcenter.com. He's obviously the Blazers reporter.
Mm-hmm.
So he asked him what his thoughts were on sending CJ McCollum, a player he spent so much time with on and off the court, to New Orleans. What is their head at now that the partnership is coming to an end? Damian says, this is something that me and C talked about over the years, being a possibility. I would say in the last 3 years, it was always something where me and him would talk, and he would be like, I might be out of here, just loosely saying stuff like that. And I'd be like, I don't think so. But as time went on, we both knew that it was going to come to a point where we might not be a backcourt anymore, whether that was him getting traded or me getting traded. You just never know where teams are, and we don't know as players all the time. But we knew we went to the Western Conference Finals, came up short. Next year, we basically blew up our team, and it didn't work out. Then we basically did it again, didn't work out. And then here we are this year, off to a rough start. Obviously, I'm unhealthy, and things aren't going well. So those conversations that we had over the years, we had those same conversations leading up to the trade. It wasn't like a surprise, or it wasn't something that we didn't discuss. He knew it was a possibility and something was going to happen, and so did I. As a friend and teammate, I love CJ. That's like a real friend of mine, not just a teammate. We've always been transparent, and nothing was different there this time. I think something could happen, and he was like, "Yeah, I know something big is coming up." Uh,
What?
Something big is going to be coming up.
That's what Dame said?
No, CJ was saying that. He says,
Oh.
I know something big was coming up, like him
Yeah.
getting traded."
Gotcha. Okay.
The possibility of it, and it was unlikely and stuff like that, and I still woke up this morning like sad it's actually done. When I'm seeing CJ to the Pelicans and stuff like that, it's like, damn, ain't no coming back from this. This is it. It ain't gonna be, every day pull up to the house, dinner on the road, all that stuff. It's done. He's on a new team. As much as I understood it, and he understood it, we kind of always communicated in a transparent way. It don't make it any easier to deal with. Man, it's really over. Is the run really over? And that's where we are.
Interesting.
How do you feel CJ's taking it? He says, he's CJ, so he's going to roll with it. He's going to roll with the punches. He's going to roll with whatever happens. And on a side note, I don't know if you saw, but David Griffin said that CJ called him and said he needed to get his physical as soon as possible because he wanted to play tomorrow night. And CJ's also going to be in the 3-point shootout, so...
Yeah, I saw that.
You and CJ put down your roots here. It's where home is. He started a business, bought property, started a family, does so much in the community that must make it harder to leave. The foundation of his professional career is here, a decade's worth, and a lot being done in that decade. So it's tough to be like, all right, now you got to walk away from it. That's hard. For you, as someone who has been with CJ so long as a backcourt partner, how do you see things going forward for you? I'm guessing there might be a few times where you might even forget that CJ, and then Dame interrupts that he's not there. I literally came into the arena tonight. I was in my Sprinter on the way to the arena talking to someone like, man, it's really over. And then when I walked into the arena and walked into the locker room, I was still expecting him to be there until I looked at his locker like, dang. So I think it's definitely what you're saying. I'm definitely going to forget that he's not there. That's just what it is. Crazy. Once again, this is from Casey Holdall. How would you sum up your partnership? I don't think we need to read that part.
Yeah. Honestly, like, if you want to read the rest of the article, go click on his article. Go give him a click. He put in the work for the article, so,
There was one other...
Some of it out.
I wanted to find this. Okay. This is the last question, so I skipped over a lot of it. But yeah, go read it. It's a good article. Lots of great Dame. There's tons of Dame quotes in here. So if you want to hear about how Dame's feeling, go read the rest of it. But I just want to get to this last question. How do you feel where the team is at right now? Obviously, a lot of things are in flux. It seems like there's still some work to be done, some things that need to come together. Where do you land now in terms of what you've seen? Dame says, right now I haven't had a mental break from being a great point guard, being a leader of a team, trying to keep my body right, having to do all these things to be successful and have our team be successful. I've always had that pressure and that burden on me because I've always wanted to lead us to success. I've had that for 10 years where I felt that way. So having a mental break and a physical break for a real injury, I was really struggling more than I even knew now that I'm removed from it. Now I've just focused on rehab. I've been with my kids every day, talking to my son, blah, 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 doing stuff that I've never been able to do. So it's putting me in a place of peace and appreciation. For me, my heart is a Portland Trailblazer. I want to win it. I know that I have a plan that's going to put me on the best level when I come back and play, and I want our team to fit that. I'm a huge fan of Chauncey Billups. I love Chauncey. We've got a great relationship, and I think he'll continue to grow into the head coach that he wants to be. And I'm a Joe Cronin fan. In his position, I think it takes being bold and doing bold things, doing what you see fit and standing on it. He told me that our plan is to build a winning team, not to rebuild. Because we had prior relationships to him becoming a GM, I trust his word. So that leads me to believe we will get Grant, because that's kind of the best. The both worlds maybe is kind of dipping your toe into both,
Yeah.
And then he says, I'm at peace. I'm doing what I've got to do to get myself right and being home with my family. I'm just waiting patiently to let things unfold and allow him to execute his plan. Once we get there and we see what that looks like and what that is, then I'll have, I guess, more feelings that I have now, but you've got to allow him to do his job and see what that finished product is. That's just where I am.
That's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the only thing I'll say to that is, I mean, you could put what Dame thinks are the best winning pieces around him. It might not be the best strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you get on the court and it doesn't work out, right? Like maybe Grant's a horrible fit with him or something, or he's having the same defensive issues that Rocco had or whatever, right? So that's something that could happen. And then the opposite could be true, where we do go super young. Dame's bummed and like he feels like we don't have a good team, and then like we have some rookies come in that are gangbusters right away, and Ant takes a step up, and then all of a sudden he's like, wow, we really have something here, even though we're young. Like this is really a good team. So I don't think it's as much as like he would leave before even giving whatever team we have a chance. And so that's why I think if Cronin's going to be bold, he'll just build the team however he wants to build it, not necessarily to make moves just because Dame thinks they're good moves. Because as we know, like if we had Aaron Gordon's contract or something right now, I don't know if that necessarily puts us in a better position moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God, it's weird. It's going to be weird seeing CJ in a Pelicans jersey.
Also, yeah, as multiple people point out in chat, Dame was kind of upset when we traded Tim. What was his name?
Tim Frazier.
Tim Frazier, and he was sad when Plumlee got traded for Nurkic, and then Nurk comes in and instantly becomes his best friend, right? So I think we'll have cases like that where like he'll eventually latch on to an Anthony Simons type, right? And he's like guided this guy, mentored him for years, and so they have a good relationship. Like it's not like he's going to be playing with people who he doesn't have any kind of friendship or good vibes with.
Yeah, I think he'll like I think he will like Hart.
Mm-hmm.
If we keep Josh Hart, I think Hart is a guy that Dame would vibe with.
Yeah.
You know, Anthony's his guy, Nurkic is his guy, Nas. It's just how do we fill in the starting 3 and 4 because we have huge holes there right now.
Yeah.
So,
this was also from the Jake L. Fisher thing. Going back to that, he said that Portland is looking to do something similar to Toronto did last year.
What does that mean?
And we also had the Golden State example, obviously, with Steph Curry, right? But Toronto, they were bad for 1 year. Siakam's hurt, right? They regroup, get a top pick, hit on that pick, and then all of a sudden they're back to being on the upswing again, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, obviously they don't have a perfect roster, but you can see how some of their pieces, I mean, eventually they'll probably move one of their forwards for the right other position that they need, probably a center or something, right? So that was Jake L. Fisher's point, is that the Blazers are looking at it like that. Just be bad for 1 year, hope you get up into the top, three picks or maybe even 4 or 5 and get lucky if someone takes an Ivy in front of you or something.
Yeah.
Get a good pick and then fill in those pieces. Hope you have a little bit of growth from some of your younger guys, and bam, you're right back into it. But we'll see.
I just wish this draft was more of like had like more of a clear-cut star. Like your guy you knew was going to be a star. Like I mean, I guess Anthony Edwards wasn't a clear-cut star, but I mean, he's very talented.
I mean, we didn't think LaMelo Ball would be a star.
Yeah.
We were obviously wrong on that,
but like Zion in 2019, obviously he has his issues, but then too is John Morant, and like you knew John Morant was going to be good. The year before that, it was questionable. It was like Ayton, Bagley, Doncic, right? Jaren Jackson Jr., Trae Young. I'm just going back through like recent drafts, and there hasn't really been a big man or a power forward other than Zion that has impressed me. I mean, I guess Scotty Barnes has been somewhat impressive this year, and Evan Mobley too. But like, if you look at the drafts before that, it's like, in terms of the top 5 picks, James Wiseman, Patrick Williams, Isaac Okoro in 2020, like bleh. For a top, 3 of the top 5 picks. The year before that, Zion number 1. Okay, cool. RJ Barrett is, I think, overrated. He just is an inefficient chucker at this point in his career. That doesn't really play that good defensively. DeAndre Hunter's been injured.
Remember, we have possibly 2 chances though of hitting though. That helps our margin for error a little bit, assuming we get the other pick.
But like the year before that, DeAndre Ayton number 1 over Luka and Trae Young, Marvin Bagley the 3rd at 2nd, and then Jaren Jackson Jr. at 4. It's like the playmakers I feel like are safer bets. The year before that, Jason Tatum was like, it was like Jason Tatum, Josh Jackson, De'Aaron Fox, Lonzo Ball, Markelle Fultz, all perimeter guys. The year before that, Ben Simmons, Brandon Ingram, Jaylen Brown, Dragan Bender, Chris Dunn. Like, Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram are good, but they're not like superstars or close to superstars. So maybe that's the one thing that worries about me with this draft. Is it like, are we going to be able to get a guy that's actually has...
I never worry about that in drafts. Because those guys are in every draft. It's not necessarily... Because maybe we don't move up in the top 5 and we get AJ Griffin and Tari Easton or something, and it turns out to be better than if we did, and Chet's a bust or Banchero's a bust, and we get super lucky that way,
Yeah, it's just a weird draft. And honestly, if we don't move our pickup, like I want to get up to 6th or whatever. Like if we don't move our pickup, that's the one guy I want is AJ Griffin. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I wish we had the front court more set and needed a playmaker, and this was like, a Luka draft. You know what I mean? That, like, obviously that's just hindsight, but I mean, I guess this is the right draft to tank for, though, because we need front court help, and the top 3 guys are front court players, and then maybe the 4th best guy is forward, a small forward.
Oh, David, you had something that I had in my notes here to bring up later. This pick we got from New Orleans, this is another reason why I want to keep it. It does feel like kind of the same juju that we got from the Dame pick. You know what I mean? Where we traded Gerald Wallace and got that Dame pick that was top 3 protected. This one's top 5, but it could still be number 6, I guess, technically, or, even if it's not 6, it still would jive with this theory. But like, maybe we'll get someone that we, like we got the 6th pick that year and we got a franchise-changing star that year. And I'm not saying we're going to do that. Obviously, to hit another home run like Dame level is near impossible to do. But, like, I kind of have that same feeling now. Like, it's only top 5 protected. They're probably not going to make the playoffs. So as long as they don't move up in the lottery, we'll keep it. And if we hit on that pick, even if it's not a star, even if it's just like a really good player, I think that has a very ceiling-changing effect on our team.
Yeah.
But you got to take the right guy. You can't miss. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem with this kind of strategy with not getting a lot for our players.
I just think there's like a clear fall off after number 7. And that's the problem that I have. I don't think New Orleans' pick is going to be able to get up to number 7.
I don't know. I disagree. And you just said earlier that you haven't really done a lot of research on guys in that range.
I mean, I've watched guys, and I've watched a little bit of film on guys. Like, because 5 through 7 would be in some combination Sharp, and that's assuming he goes into the draft, which I don't know if he will. Johnny Davis and AJ Griffin, 5 through 7. Is there somebody that you'd put like up with them?
I think right now that's becoming pretty clear.
Yeah. So, I mean, but like if we don't need a guard, you know what I mean?
Well, that is one thing. I mean, other teams could need a guard and could take like a Ty Washington over a an AJ Griffin or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I just think that Pelicans pick's going to be like 11 at best, unfortunately. I mean, but that's Tara Eason range. I just, like, if there was any possible way, like, say we got a top 3 pick, if there's any possible way to also get AJ Griffin, I mean, that's like the pipe dream draft. That's the dream.
If we didn't trade that second round pick, like, for Jeremy Grant, like, maybe we somehow, like, if we had, like, 9th, maybe we can move up to 7th with our second round pick attached or something. I don't know. There might be a way to maneuver around.
Let's say we were 10th or 11th, and you could trade up to draft AJ Griffin if you took the 10th or 11th pick with Nas. Would you do it?
Oh, I think that's a little too much. Because unlike you, I like some of those guys. I like Keegan Murray. I like Tari Eason. I like kind of some of the things I've seen from Jalen Duren. Like 8 or 9 is probably too high, but 10 or 11, I'm comfortable taking him there as of right now. So actually, I don't know if it'll work out this way, but teams like OKC that have multiple picks, maybe, or Memphis has multiple picks. Maybe there's a way to get I really like Mark Williams as a center prospect, so maybe you trade down and maybe get 2 like middle or later firsts and get maybe either Easton or Duren fall a little bit, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, AJ Griffin, he's such a freaking sniper, and he's shooting 49% from 3 in college. Like, he shoots weird. You wouldn't think it looking at his form, but the dude's a sniper. Off the dribble game, defensive ability. He's like coming off an injury, so there might be some concerns there, but he was like a freak athlete in high school, and he's still not all the way back to that same level of athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
And he had, an injury to start this year and was kind of like slowly worked back into playing. So he's also still only 18 years old. On draft day, he'll still only be 18 years old. He'll be, I think a couple months until he turns 19. Yeah, his birthday is August 25th, 2003. I'm an AJ Griffin fan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's probably some other guys below that I, obviously, and I'll admit it, I need to watch more.
Remember last year the insane packages that were rumored that like OKC was offering to move up to number 1 or whatever, like SGA and obviously I don't think we need SGA specifically, but like, what if we got like a top 3 pick and you have OKC calling you with like 3 firsts or something to move up from or move down from like 3 to 5? You could still get AJ Griffin, but you lose out on one of those top 3.
Yeah, it depends on what you turn the other 2 firsts into. But that'd be tough. I mean, that'd be tough. I don't know. I would want like a proven like borderline star in the 5th pick, like SGA, that package.
Yeah.
I don't know what team would give that up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I would hope that, Toronto's not going to have a high enough pick, but, like, Toronto with, like, Siakam. You know what I mean? Like, Siakam in the 6th pick so they can get 2 so they can draft Chet Holmgren and think that Jet Holmgren, OG, and Scotty Barnes is the future. I don't know. You know what I mean? That sounds kind of absurd, but, like,
I'm not 100% saying I'm doing it. I would just be curious to see what kind of offers we would get for teams moving up,
Yeah. Anyway. You want to start Twitter Space and talk to some people?
Yeah, let me just finish a couple things from this Jake L. Fisher. I'll be quick.
Yeah.
So, in terms of our trade value, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is coming from a lot of executives around the league. They were puzzled and continue to be puzzled why we included Robert Covington in the Clippers trade, especially since we saved so much money in the CJ trade, which is something we told you to be mad about. If we save money in a CJ trade, it makes the money savings from the other trade like not important. And this is multiple teams said he would have been a super valuable asset on Thursday. And that makes me mad.
Yep.
And then also the same executive said that the Blazers absolutely left draft capital on the board in the CJ trade, especially when adding Nance, kind of similar to the Rocco trade. We left assets on the table by including Nance in that trade. Obviously, it got us the big trade exception, but we should have been compensated more draft pick compensation for including Nance. And some people were speculating that Cronin didn't really even push or pursue more draft capital.
That pisses me off, man. Yeah, I mean, Chris Brandlin, what do you expect? I mean, that's coming from Jake Fisher, who's pretty tapped into the league, hearing it from multiple executives. I'm not gonna, this isn't to call him out or anything, but I would trust Jake Fisher over Danny Meringue. Okay? That's just my if you want to trust Danny Meringue over Jake Fisher, go ahead. Okay? I'm gonna trust Jake Fisher over Danny Meringue. Okay?
Well, I mean, we don't have to say anything. They were clowning us they act like we're pretend people or whatever, but yeah, I mean, they don't have any sources that we don't have, and yeah, that guy tries to make up that he has sources, and that's great. Yeah, he definitely has a great show, great audience, all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah. He called us out, so whatever.
Did he? Did he name us on stream or?
Yeah, basically. I was told we were called clowns for believing that we got offered a first round pick from New Orleans or something. I don't know, even though apparently he said that the other day. But yeah, whatever.
That's what people were saying he said. So I'm sure he didn't know what he said, just like he didn't know that he said that Anthony Simons was 6'5", and then Anthony Simons brought it up and he pretended like he didn't know. Maybe he just forgot. And that's not his fault, right? So, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to insult him.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Just I'm going to trust somebody that's obviously plugged into the freaking league. So if somebody comes into their chat citing Jake Fisher as a source, saying Jake Fisher said this, and then you turn around and call him misinformed, that means you think you have more insight and better sources than Jake Fisher, which is kind of ridiculous. I will never sit here and act like I have better sources or better inside information than Jake Fisher. That's ridiculous to me. That's so ridiculous. And if somebody comes in quoting Jake Fisher, I'll be like, do we know... if somebody comes in quoting a report from somebody, I'm like, okay, do we know if that's legitimate? Let's look into it. Let's dive into it. See what this person has maybe broken. Whatever. Let's investigate it and see if it's legitimate or not. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, you're misinformed and the other guys are clowns. That's why I don't like their stuff. That's why I don't like them. That type of stuff. So I'm going to trust Jake Fisher, all right? Until he proves that he can't be trusted. He's had scoops before. He's had some insider information before. I'm going to trust that, right? Isn't that how you kind of view it too, Eric? Isn't that kind of the logical thing to do?
Yeah, I mean, I take everything any person says, including my own sources, with a grain of salt. I don't know if I never fully believe it outside of one source who has some direct knowledge of certain areas that I can't expand on, but outside of one source I have, I don't really, I mean, it's fun to speculate from sources, but I don't ever 100% believe it until it actually happens, and then I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe this person is dependable since this happened or that happened. I mean, it's pretty clear what happened. People refuse to believe that Tori and I could ever become legitimate or have some sort of sources or connection or anything. And honestly, I mean, that's fine. I don't care. People can believe whatever they want in that regard. Totally cool with me. I just I'm never going to like pretend I have sources. So if I'm telling you guys something, it's because like I think you guys would probably want to know, because I love that hearing, like, even if it's not true, if someone DMs me out of the blue and says, "Hey, we're gonna trade Dame to Milwaukee" or something, like, I still think it's funny. Like, I know it's not true, but like, but yeah, those. Let me just put it this way: if Tori and I ever became credible and like had sources, which we are starting to maybe become, that's really bad for people like that who make up sources and do that kind of stuff. So that's all I'll say about that. Is not going to talk crap. They can say whatever they want about us. They've talked crap about us several times, but their talking crap is based out of, they have to portray us as the clowns who don't know what we're talking about and who shouldn't have a show and all this kind of stuff. So as long as they, yeah.
I was muted. Even though we built our stuff from the ground up, Eric, and weren't propped up by a website. We built our channel.
And, yeah.
We built our channel from scratch.
But anyways, yeah.
Up.
So, so it's got to. I mean, they got to be shaking in their boots if we actually get legitimate sources and connections. Which I have a couple other people who are. I have a couple people who I am starting to trust very much, that have given me some information, including. Like, I was like 99% sure that the Kings were going to overpay for one of the power forwards, Sabonis, Jeremy Grant, or John Collins, and that came to fruition today. So it's I mean, I don't care. Like, I'm telling you guys this right now. I will tell you about like fun, stupid things people tell me. I'll never try to say it's 100% credible source unless one of them becomes 100% credible report. But I'm never going to make something up just to like prop up this channel or anything like that. Tori and I don't have to do that. Like you said, we built this thing from the beginning, from our basketball knowledge, our CBA knowledge, the way we analyze the games. And I hope you guys appreciate that. We're not going to then just like make up stuff to try and get more viewers, or at least I'm not going to clickbait anything. So you guys
we
always
literally get our viewers because we just call it like it is. Call it how we see it. It's simple, and we never have to worry about, you know what I mean? And like, our opinions can change if we get new evidence that, okay, yeah, this roster is more of a problem than we thought, right? And we could say, oh yeah, we were maybe wrong on the roster at the start of the season, right? And we can admit that, like, but we just call it like it is. It's easy, and I think people know that. I ain't gonna make up anything. I'm not gonna make up that Anthony Simons is 6'5". Then we're gonna bring him on the show because I have connections, and then he's gonna say, yeah, somebody brought up that I was 6'5". Oh, that's funny. I'm not gonna pull that type of stuff, So, yeah, I just don't respect that. I mean, yeah, we don't even talk about them anymore, though, Eric.
I know, like, yeah.
So I don't know why they're bringing us
up. And chat brought it up, and there was a donation from JM1231 who brings them up as well, $2. Trust.
I ain't even trying to talk about them. You know what I mean?
You should trust my 12-year-old nephew over them. Okay, yeah. All right, let's move on.
yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, the prevailing perception he got was that there were executive puzzled about why we traded Rocco and why we included Nance and didn't ask for more in the trade, and apparently Cronin didn't really even push it that hard, which once again goes back to trading them several days before the deadline instead of possibly being a bidding war and teams panicking last minute on Thursday, right?
Yes.
Yep. So I have a question for you real quick as we go into our Twitter space. So this will lead into like our questions we get from there. All right. So we've heard from these people, right, that say our assets aren't valuable, right? They
Yes.
have negative value. They don't have the kind of value Tori and I are talking about, right?
Yes.
So why is it we can never trade for those guys? Why aren't we trading for Norman Powell and Rocco right now, those level players, if they're not valuable?
Yeah.
And not giving it up. Instead, we're giving up 2 firsts for Rocco, a first for Nance, and not getting one back, not getting anything back for Rocco.
People just say O'Shea overpaid.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, like Jeremy Grant, it goes back to that. If we can get him for a Rocco, Norman Powell, Larry Nance, CJ, like, if we can get him for like somewhat in that value range, that's fine. Cool. Go for as many players as you can get for those kind of level players. Like if we can flip Bledsoe's contract and get even like a somewhat, it doesn't even have to be like, it could be like a 9th rotation guy next year, right? If we can somehow get that out of Bledsoe's contract, do it, right? But to give all our assets away and then complain that we don't have anything to do, and then basically we're always buying high and selling low, and that's the stupidest thing. And this is why I don't want to trade Nurk, is because if his value isn't good in the market, I don't want to waste hit. Like, I'd rather just keep him, and it's almost to the point where I would have rather just kept Nance, or I would have rather kept Rocco or whatever if we didn't get anything for them. And that's how I would approach trades, not like, oh, you have to get rid of this guy, he's a negative value. That's the dumbest way to approach trades, and that's why you get ripped off in trades. And that drives me crazy. I've heard from multiple people, once again, take this from a grain of salt, I'm not making this up. I've actually legitimately heard some of this stuff, that there was teams that were going to panic. They needed players to help them make a run. We've seen the Eastern Conference is just a jumbled mess right now with teams with injuries or needs at multiple positions, and we had players at multiple positions available. And we had a quality guy that was just worth a first a few months ago in Larry Nance, and we just threw him in a trade like he wasn't worth anything. Stuff like that is freaking stupid as a GM, and this is how you ruin a retooling process and then have to bank on knocking a draft pick out of the park, or you're freaking screwed in the Dame era. And that's why I hate it. It's like, why aren't we out there? If the market for these players is so low, go get like 4 or 5 rotation players for next year right now, right? Mm-hmm. You should have been able to do that with your assets, not just give them all away and then be left holding the bag with nothing. That's not how you did.
Yeah, and it's like, as far as Nurkic goes, it's like, in terms of trading Nurkic, it's like all we could get back is a second-round pick because we don't get enough value for players. But then if we have to replace Nurkic, in order to just get another Nurkic-caliber
right.
guy, we have to give up a first.
Maybe 2.
Yeah, so it's like we just turn a first into a second. And it depletes your assets. When you buy low and sell high, you deplete your assets. And I said so many times before this trade deadline, the Blazers are not in a position where they can not get full value for their assets. And they have not gotten full value for their assets. Mm-hmm. And that's been confirmed by numerous sources that you've talked to. It's confirmed by Jake Fisher. And it's like people in Portland don't want to face the possibility that they have another GM that doesn't know what he's doing, right? Like, they hated O'Shea, and now it's like, oh, I don't want to think of the possibility that maybe the O'Shea replacement doesn't have a clue what he's doing. Okay? So, if he's not pushing for more value, like, he can say all the right things about, like, oh, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I have a plan, right? But when it comes down to negotiations, if you don't know how to negotiate, and Cronin strikes me as the guy that maybe he doesn't know how to negotiate, you're going to get screwed. You cannot have a GM that doesn't know how to negotiate value out of trades. And if that report is true, where he didn't even really push to extract more value out of trades, then not only, like, it's bad enough that maybe he doesn't have the skill, but if he doesn't even try, then what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, I don't know if he was not trying. I guess I took it as they offered a certain amount of pick assets and he was fine with that. It's like no, that's not how
you
negotiate.
negotiate. Yeah, that's not how you freaking negotiate as a GM. That's ridiculous. Like, you ever see Pawn Stars or whatever? And it's like the customer will always start high, and then the pawn shop they'll give them a lower offer, right? And then usually they end up meeting in the middle. That's how you negotiate. You start off with a package that's like, yeah, I don't see them taking this, but we'll start off here. And then they start off low. And then you negotiate. Okay, well, can you throw this in then? You could have negotiated more value out of the freaking LA Clippers for those two guys. The Clippers gave up utter dog crap for two legitimate.
And then they're laughing about how they got such a good player on Norman Powell and they haven't locked him up for 4 more years now.
Yeah, and people are saying, but he's still a bad contract. Even though their GM is saying he's a great contract. Like, yeah, drives me crazy. So, yeah, it's a situation where they've pretty much botched this trade deadline. And maybe they can salvage it, but it's like any path should have been better executed than this. Mm-hmm. And that's what's so disappointing.
Because if they trade Keon Johnson or Nickeil Alexander-Walker and get something good back, that's fine. But if that was the plan all along, why wouldn't you wait until that other team was for sure doing the trade and just make it a 3-team trade, right?
Yeah.
And then you don't have the problems with like matching salary or all this other stuff, right? So to me, what happened is they took bad trades and they're going to try everything possible in the next, we're down to 37 hours. Yeah. In the next 37 hours, they're going to do everything possible to reship most of these guys out of here and try to get anything they can for any of them. I don't think they're tied to pretty much any of them. So they're going to try. And like I've said all along, another team might bail us out. There might be someone like, for example, Goran Dragic is not playing for the Toronto Raptors, right? So maybe they see an Eric Bledsoe and are like, okay, we'll give you an expiring contract so you don't have to eat the $3.9 million, and we get like an expiring contract, and that saves us some money next year, and maybe they throw in a second or something just because they actually get a player that will go and play for them or whatever. Like, I don't know if they want them as just like an idea. So, or like maybe the Pacers would do it for the Ricky Rubio contract, the same kind of trade, like, and maybe we get another second out of it, and then your value for the initial trade starts to grow a little more, and we don't have that money on the books next year if we're stuck with it. But like all that, like I said, would have just been wrapped into the initial trade if we had it on the table. So anything that happens from here on out is basically just them coming up with a new trade afterwards instead of having a plan to execute. And that's my biggest problem is you don't make these trades this early if that is your plan to try and get more out of the players you got. You try to wait until you get that trade and bring in the third team and do that. So, yeah, like he can still salvage it. He can still make some good moves. If he gets Jeremy Grant without giving up that New Orleans pick, sure, like maybe we'll start to be like, okay, maybe he's doing something. But I don't want to hear this crap like you should have waited to see what his plan was first, because those same people after the deadline when we don't do jack crap and we just made these few horrible trades, right? Those same people are going to be saying, look at all the cap space it created. Look at all the flexibility, all this crap, right? And they're going to have all different talking points. It's not going to be wait to see what happens. It's going to be like, no, they had a plan. It was to do this instead of that. And as we debunked earlier, we don't really have a lot of cap space. Tori had some great tweets today about if we just cleared every single person off our roster other than Dame, we still don't have as much cap space as they claim we got out of this trade.
Yeah, they claimed we had $60 million could have up to $60 million in cap space if we cleared out everything, which includes not even using our first-round picks, our lotto picks that we have right now, not using our second-round pick, cleared everybody off the roster. Mm-hmm. We'd only have $56.7 million in cap space.
Yeah.
So, like, if that number was fed to Woj, it's BS.
Yep.
Which makes me wonder if they did their math wrong. Because the math isn't hard to do if you know the CBA. And I'm sure Cronin knows the CBA. It's just like, where does that $60 million number come from?
I don't think it's wrong. I think it's that they're used to Portland media not fact-checking it all. So
yeah, and they don't. And it drives me crazy.
Yep. And then you see all these tweets. Oh, look at all the cap space. We could sign 2 max guys maybe if we can clear up enough space or whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, I tweeted out, like, what if we kept Ant, Nas, and then Greg Brown since he's a minimum and, like, you know, roster holds count the same, right? Mm-hmm. And we'd only have, like, $44 million.
But that's if we get rid of Bledsoe, because if not, there's $4 million, right?
Yeah, so that'd be $40 million.
If we don't get rid of Winslow, he's under contract for 4.1 next year, so that's $8 million between those two.
Yeah, so take away 2 roster holds. That's
then you're down to 36.
39.
Take away our draft picks if we keep them. There's Jeannot, there is zero chance we're wrong. I will put that on my life. We are not wrong. We have the exact contract numbers. We have the the only chance is if this wouldn't be us being wrong, but the salary cap is projected to be 121 million. So unless it goes up by like 10 million or something, we're 100% not wrong. I will put that on my life. I will put my knowledge of this contract situation. It's simple. You just add the numbers together. It equals a certain amount, and it gives us 45 million with 4 guys, and you have to have 12 guys. So, it's quite simple.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, the whole, we could trade for Ben Simmons with cap space. I won't say that it's not feasible. It's just so convoluted. And it's a situation where, like, Philadelphia might be planning to just try and sign Harden outright with cap space. And they would need to trade Ben Simmons for nothing. And they would need to trade Tobias Harris. Like, they'd have to give up assets with him. But, you know, I read an article on it from, like, Sam Amick, and it was on The Athletic. Like, trade Tobias Harris for, like, a little bit less salary, and then they have enough to sign James Harden, apparently, right? I didn't fact check his math, so it could be wrong. They could have to do more than that, but apparently, like, that's been tossed out there, okay? And people have tossed out, Portland, if they could clear enough cap space, they could trade, the New Orleans pick for Ben Simmons, which I'm not sure is enough, but, like, if they want nothing back and no other team with that much cap space is giving up any value, then that might get the deal done for Portland, right? And then you still have your top 3 overall pick, whatever. The problem is, you would barely be able... You couldn't keep Nurk, okay? Nurkic is out the window.
Yep.
You could barely keep Dame, Ant, Nas, Greg Brown, like Eloy, probably throw in there.
He's a free agent, though.
Oh, is he? Okay, never mind.
We could probably re-sign him, but he's a free agent.
So you could barely keep Dame.
You'd have to cut Hart.
You'd have to cut Hart. So the only guys you could keep.
Nothing.
Yeah, the only guys you could keep to make that plan happen would be Dame, Ant, Nas, Greg Brown III, and our first round pick, maybe top 3 pick.
Also, this is only including Ant's cap hold. So if he signed an offer sheet day 1 of free agency, our whole plan is screwed pretty much. Unless, we have the few days, the 3 days in the moratorium to fix it. But this could be a very short window to have this cap space too.
Yeah. So Nurkic gone. Okay, we'd have to trade our pick anyway just to get the money to do it, so that's the asset to Philadelphia or whatever for Ben Simmons, and then maybe they can use the New Orleans pick to get off Tobias Harris and clear the cap space, whatever, right? Probably be a convoluted 3-team trade, I don't know. So, you're talking about, if you get lucky in the draft, you got like a Jabari Smith. So you have like Dame, Ant, Simmons, Jabari Smith. You would then have a room exception, which would be what, like $4.5 million next year, maybe $5 million?
Yeah, somewhere around there, $5 million.
So you would have that to spend in free agency, okay, to sign a starting center, and then maybe you have your second overall or your second round pick to get a backup center, and then the rest is minimums. minimum contracts. The rest of the rotation, almost the entire bench would be a second round pick or minimums.
Mm-hmm.
The bench would be awful. Who knows if we can sign a legitimate starting center for like $5 million? Right? There's legitimate problems with that. So, I mean, maybe it's the right option if you can sign the right guy for that $5 million room exception. We've never talked about a cap room exception because we've never had cap space. You don't get a mid-level exception. You have to renounce all your TPEs. So the $20.8 million trade player exception that Portland has for CJ, you'd have to renounce it. Okay, you couldn't use that.
Or if we trade for anyone with it right now, we have no cap space.
Yeah, and if we use it for Jeremy Grant, like, that plan is completely out the window. So, and it's like, if we don't get a top 3 pick, and it's like, we're going to have to start AJ Griffin, or, I mean, maybe we take a guard, because we don't have a guard off the bench, and then, like, you're starting a vet minimum guy, or a second round pick. I don't know if you can be good enough to even win a playoff series.
Our centers next year would be Canner and Zeller type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
for some people, they like that idea. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. So I don't really see the logic in that. And is that some people's like master plan, like, oh, this is what they're going to do and it's great. It's not great. Maybe if you get lucky and sign minimum guys, but like our guy, we never have luck in free agency.
Mm-hmm. But this is why I want to get like Watford under contract, Kenrick Williams under contract, like trade for guys like that. Like find some guys who are under contract for that are actual rotation players but make very little, and go for those kind of guys versus like Keon Johnson and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who, I mean, I guess Nickeil Alexander-Walker, best case scenario, could be maybe a rotational piece next year. But, like, we need to somehow get some minimal contacts with those kind of contracts that we have, because this is also ditching Keon Johnson, ditching Nickeil Alexander-Walker, not getting anything contract-wise back for those guys. So yeah, we don't really have a lot of options in terms of keeping anyone. So I just don't know how you can accomplish all this in the next few days and then think we'd have cap space even if we do accomplish it.
Yep. So I don't see that as a plausible route. I think it's more plausible you keep the pick. Before you get a top 3 pick, draft Jabari Smith if you can. Right? And then you have Dame, Ant, Jabari, and Nurkic. Then with that 9th pick, maybe you use it. Maybe you can trade for like a legitimate small forward, right? The problem is we don't own any of our future picks. I would have loved to have figured out how to use Nance or Rocco going to Chicago to get our future pick back so that we could have traded future picks. Because at that point, maybe you're in the door for like an OG Anunoby, right? And you could have like Dame, Ant, Anunoby, Jabari Smith, Nurkic. But we don't really have any assets outside of the Pelicans pick. That's the problem. That's why selling low on...
Or after draft day, we could technically trade our pick, but...
I mean, we're not going to try,
No, I know, but I'm just saying, technically we have that option too.
I mean, like, maybe you can trade it for Jaylen Brown, and then you have Dame, Ant, Jaylen Brown, whoever you're starting for is Nurkic, and then off the bench you have, like, Hart, Nas, maybe Watford cracks the rotation, you get, like, a MLE guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's a better route, right? Or if you use it, you got Jabari Smith, and maybe Jabari Smith can become a superstar, and it can become like an all-star, and Dame can stay being a superstar, and then you're talking contention, and you have Nurkic, and you have Hart, and you have Nas continues to grow, and you're able to find a legitimate starting 3, a 3-and-D guy, and that's the path forward. That's a lot better to me than Dame, Ant, Simmons, Jabari Smith, and a bunch of scrubs.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'd rather just go the draft route, because if you hit on the picks, think about that. You hit on the picks, you still could maybe get the trade exception, or, if you want to turn that into cap space, I don't think it really matters either way for this discussion. But you could still pursue some like rotational pieces. Like I'm not going to be like tied to these guys, but let's just say we got like a Kyle Anderson for $10 million or something. Like you can find rotational pieces that way if you hit your draft picks and have solid bench, all that kind of stuff. But if we ditch Hart, and then we have to replace him. We don't have our third guard. I don't know. Like it just doesn't make sense to me because Hart's on a good contract, and I just find it hard to believe we'd waste that asset. Like he actually had value in this trade coming back as a rotational piece. He's a good defender. He's the best defending guard we've had in the Dame era since Aldridge and Wesley Matthews and Batum and those guys left. So I don't understand why we'd waste that for this. I don't know. Yeah. Rip City 208 $5 donation. Why would Cronin leave assets sitting on the table in these trades? Laziness, timid, Jody. I don't understand. It could just not be very good at it, or I don't know. I think he was forced to do the first trade, but definitely left something on the table. And then clearly a bot member for 5 months. We need motivated players that are after a bag. I think we need motivated players that aren't after a bag, that like it, that like winning, whatever. But yeah. All right. I will switch over to the Twitter. Sorry, we're in the Blazers Uprise one.
What do you mean?
Zach started a Blazers Uprise one.
Did he?
I'm in it.
Oh, okay.
We're waiting
I'll
on
just
you.
jump in that.
We have people requesting to talk and all that.
Oh, well, I didn't. Yeah, okay, cool. Zach read my mind. Anyway, thanks, Zach. I will hop over to that one. I didn't know if he had. I didn't think he had started one. Go ahead and make me.
We have people requesting to talk and all that.
That was a little delay. All right, Zach. Co-host me, Zach. Let me co-host. Give me the co-host. All right, catch you later, Aeromancer. Can Zach co-host me? Please? Eric, I'm still waiting on Zach to give me the co-host invite. Still haven't gotten it. I don't know what's going on.
Let's see if... Yeah. Zach, cool. Are you with us?
All right, we got it. All right. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna take callers here.
Are you there, Tori?
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me? I was muted. Cool. All right.
Ben No is first up.
All right. Let's go. I can't add him. I have no speakers. It still says you're invited to co-host. I'm already co-hosting.
Zach, are you able to add him?
Added him.
Ben, thank you.
What's up, Ben?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I honestly didn't even know there was a game tonight. I don't know who they played. I don't know who won.
You didn't miss anything.
I was just sitting in my feelings about CJ, looking over some old highlights. But I was now after this trade this morning, it seems like Joe Cronin actually does have at least his plan is kind of coming to light. He seems like he's trying to do the Dallas Mavericks, trade everyone except your good player and try and draft some star, draft like good role players around him. I don't know if it's gonna work in Portland. And frankly, Dirk was better than Dame, so I don't see how they could reach like that level of success. But what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Eric.
I'm sorry, I missed the last part of that. It kind of cut out. What was?
Oh,
Can you just repeat your question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just I was kind of noticing like the parallels between the Dallas Mavericks trading away all their good players, like trying to keep it flexible around Dirk. It kind of seems like Joe Cronin's doing the same thing. Just wanted to hear your guys' thoughts on that because I don't see it working out too well.
Are you talking about pre-title or like at the end of Dirk's career?
Well, I wasn't following basketball too much like before Dirk's title, but it did seem like mostly his like post-career stuff, but yeah. I'm not sure before.
I mean, the title team, they added like Jason Kidd and Tyson Chandler who transformed their defense. They had solid wings like Sean Marion. They had a lot of talented players on that team, but a lot of them were kind of older veterans. So it's kind of similar. I'd say it's more similar to what we've been trying to do than like what this new plan is. I would, like I said earlier on the YouTube stream, this is more like what Golden State did the last 2 years or what Toronto did last year, and just kind of suck for a year or two and then hope that you get enough assets and regroup and build your team big enough. And it's all going to depend on hitting on draft picks and then also who you get to fill out your roster either through trades or free agency or whatever.
Yeah, see, but they were creative. Like, they were going to lose they were going to lose Kevin Durant, and they
for nothing.
For nothing, and they used that to get D'Angelo Russell, and then they trade D'Angelo Russell for Andrew Wiggins, and they also get a pick back with that, right? So then I think that pick became Kuminga.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kuminga.
So then they get Kuminga out of it. Where they would have lost KD for nothing, they turned it into Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga. They manufactured value. And that's the problem with Portland's plan, is they're not getting good value back for the players that they're giving up. If you get enough, if you get picks, if you get value, then you can retool easier. It makes it easier to kind of retool the roster. So I know that a lot of fans are like excited because, we're retooling the roster. We are... we got rid of Norm, we got rid of CJ, we got rid of these guys. Now we can make moves to reshape the roster, but we didn't get enough assets to do as good of a job reshaping the roster, and that's kind of where I'm struggling with everything that we've done.
Yeah, because Golden State was willing to pay an extra $30 million.
Yeah.
They didn't lose. They could have. I don't know if they would have been out of the tax if they just lost KD for nothing. But they got super in the tax, getting Russell and then flipping it for Wiggins.
Yeah, and that's definitely part of it. But it just comes down to being creative and manufacturing value as a GM. That's what good GMs do. The bad ones don't. Go ahead, Eric.
And this is my problem with chasing cap space. They got a lot of what they had, like you said, because they decided to not care about money and do that. Whereas we give Norman Powell away for seemingly very little because we're worried about paying him $18 million next year or whatever. That's the opposite approach of what we should have been going. We should have waited until we got some sort of value for him and then been comfortable keeping him if not, because those are the kind of contracts you have to have. Let's say just a random player like Pascal Siakam becomes available between now and Thursday or this offseason. We don't have a lot of avenues to get now enough salary to trade for him, even if they wanted some of our young guys or draft picks or whatever for him. So now we have trouble matching that in a trade. We have trouble trading it out. We're not gonna trade sign and trade Ant in this situation because we're building around Damon Ant. So we don't have anything to trade to get that D'Angelo Russell to then retrade later now that we spent it all. So that's my problem with this approach, is that worrying about the money led to us now not having a lot of future contracts to deal with. And if you don't use your cap space perfectly, which once again, we're in Portland. When have we ever used cap space correctly, right? So this is just a scary path of us having to do something that Portland has never been able to do with cap space, or we're kind of screwed now. Like, I don't understand how this was the right plan, but they have to execute it perfectly or we're screwed, and I just don't have a lot of confidence in this front office right now. I know I'm kind of pessimistic, but unfortunately when you trade away 4 starters who are all on decent contracts for basically very little, that's what happens,
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I can't even look through rose-colored glasses and see how any of this stuff makes sense. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I try and find the silver lining and stuff like this, and I'm really struggling right now. So I'm there with you.
Hopefully there's a surprise before now Thursday.
Yeah, man. Anything else you want to end off with, bro?
No, I'm all good. Bailey's shilling her OnlyFans to me. She's following me on here, but I guess at least I got one new follower from this. So.
I don't think we're going to allow any OnlyFans advertisements in this Twitter space.
No, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, man. That's funny.
Have a good night.
I can't remove speakers. I don't know what's going on with me right now.
Next up is Jared. Zach,
all right,
if you
cool. Yeah, add Jared. Bring Jared in here. We'll talk to Jared. Eric Bledsoe will balance the roster, says Alvaro. Can you add him, Eric?
I don't think I can add anyone.
Okay, I'll just let Zach do it then.
You said who?
Jared.
Okay.
For some reason, it's not showing me who's requesting. It shows Amar, but anybody that requested to speak before I hopped in here, it's not showing me. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm still trying to reel after that shameless plug.
Yeah, you interested?
Right. No, I'm just kind of that was the most randomest thing I've heard in a while.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, but go on.
We were going so good, and then randomly today, of course, when CJ gets traded, the bottom falls out on everything.
Yeah. So,
All right. What you got for us, Jared?
Yeah, what you
All
got
right,
for us?
so, be honest, Chet's kind of growing on me.
He's been growing all his life.
Well, yeah. I mean, the dude's basically 7 foot AK-47. But so basically, hypothetically, what happens if that New Orleans pick doesn't convey?
We do not know yet. No one has released the details as of the last time I checked. We've heard it turns into a future first-round pick, but we have no idea what future first-round pick it turns into.
Oh, boy.
But there's still, I think it's more likely that it conveys to us than it doesn't at this point.
Oh, yeah. No, it's pretty likely. I do get the vibes of the Gerald Wallace trade.
Yeah. Anyway, what else you got?
So I do kind of like the idea of the Tyrese and Chet experiment there. I think that's literally 2 all defensive team guys.
Yeah. I can see both of them developing into that, yeah.
But
which is what we need, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Athletic, energetic, get up on the floor, run around, long wingspans, that would be awesome in my opinion.
I mean,
Yeah,
some people weren't built for this, man. This tearing down the roster.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Cronin was built for any of this, but you got any other questions?
No. That's all I got, man.
You came unprepared, Jared. I'm slightly disappointed, but
all right, Jared.
No, I actually thought you guys would have had the answer to that. I didn't know that.
No, nobody has the answer. Like, it just hasn't been released yet, unfortunately. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what it is because they have future picks of their own and like LA's. So it's going to be interesting to see if that converts into like an unprotected LA pick, because then maybe that's not so bad, right?
Watch it be Bronny drafts.
We're not an unprotected pick. I don't think we're drafting Bronny in the top 5, so I'm not really worried about that, man. But dude, somebody's gonna draft Bronny just so they can get their hands on LeBron. Anyway, thanks for calling in, man.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Have a good rest of your night.
Real quick, Real GM now has our pick on there on our credits.
Yeah. Do they have something listed?
It just says 2022 first round pick for New Orleans protected 2022 1 through 4 and 15 and 30. It has no. Usually it says if doesn't convey it goes to this or whatever. So it has no other information other than that. So still waiting on that.
Yep. All right, Jared. I'll catch you later, man.
All right, man.
Have a good one, Jared. Jackson is next up, Zach.
Yep. So just remove Jared, add Jackson. And we'll see what Jackson has for us.
What's up, Jackson?
Hey, yo, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, You're crystal clear.
Oh, solid. Okay. I just have one little thought here. So, what if we called up OKC?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know how, like, Nikhil and Shea are related? I don't really know how. I should know that they are.
Are they? I didn't know that either. Okay.
They, well, somehow they're related. And I think they're, like, half cousins or something.
Yeah.
And what
the
if we
long last
tried to
names,
flip
man.
them? Yeah. What if we tried to flip Nikhil for Kenrich Williams, however you say his name?
I think you'd have to attach a second to that, but that would be a dub.
Well, yeah.
That would be a W. Because then, like, that's the thing. If you got, like, a Kenrich Williams, he's only making, like, $2 million a year, so barely more than a minimum roster hold. Like, if you get a guy like that, a role player, very, very cheap, it makes the potential, like, cap space for Ben Simmons' plan a little bit more logical, if that makes sense.
One more rotation piece in place.
Yeah, one more rotation piece in place that doesn't really eat into the salary cap room that you would have, right? It's basically only eats $300,000 into it if he's making $2 million, because otherwise his spot would be a roster hold for $1.7 million. So that would be something to look at. I don't know how much OKC would value their relation, but that's a really good, like, thought.
They're cousins, by the way.
Cousins, yeah. I mean, that's intriguing.
I mean, even without, like, relation, I don't know. I'd be calling them anyways to gouge their value of him in general.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead, Eric.
I know they wanted, like, a first-round pick type value back from Williams, so...
If we were not chasing cap space, which is also another reason why I think it's dumb, we could offer them Sadaransky now and take back Favors. That would clear Favors' complete contract from next year. I don't want Favors, but then maybe they give us Kenrich Williams for no picks involved because we took that salary off their books and they already got a first for Favors. So that helps them out, I guess, for next year, clearing a bunch of money off their books. So maybe you could do something like that. But yeah.
See, like, if we trade for Jeremy Grant, like, that's more... If we trade for Jeremy Grant, we're not trading cap space. So it's not 100% for sure that we're trading cap space. I would love that. Right. So Sadaransky and, like, Alexander Walker for Favors and Kenrich Williams. And the value for OKC is getting off of Favors' contract for next year and getting it expired. That's why they would maybe do that trade. Yeah, I mean, Kenrich Williams should definitely be a target. And
for the record, I do not want Favors. That was just an example of how we can help them without having to give a pick.
Yeah. I mean, dude, Jackson, I'm proud of you, man. That's a really good idea. I like where you're going with that. I like the relation. I didn't even know that. Props.
All right, I got one more thing to add here.
Right,
so Neil O'Shea. Maybe we bring him back to the scouting department so we don't screw up these picks in this draft.
I mean,
Nah, Olshea's untouchable. No.
yeah. That's a funny joke. I mean,
that'd be legendary.
Olshea's good at second round picks. I don't know if I trust him at the top of drafts though.
I mean, he got Dame and CJ. That was 8 years ago.
We're bringing a draft expert maybe, but yeah, we're done with Olshea.
Sorry, Jackson. Sorry, your idol. We can't bring him back, man. I'm sorry.
I stand Neil O'Shea. I just wanted to.
You just outed yourself in front of 225 people.
I mean, I hate Neil O'Shea. What?
Yeah. Anyway, anything else you got?
Nah, that's it.
Oh, thanks for the call, man.
Have a good night, Jackson. Good suggestion.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
See you, man. All right.
All right, Zach. Next up is John Mitzak.
Yep. And then I'll be able to start running things, because then it's Amar, then it's Shervin, then we'll probably wrap up the stream.
Veeks is before Amar.
Oh, Veeks. Okay, yeah, we'll do John, then Veeks, then Amar, then Shervin, then wrap up the stream. All right, what's up, John?
Hey, guys. What's up?
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Didn't watch much of the game, but...
Same.
You didn't?
But, I liked, the draft talk before about prospects, because I'm actually intrigued by having, like, kind of an early second-round pick, because I really like Julian Champagny as a prospect for us, because I just think he's someone we could really use. I don't know if you guys know anything about him.
I know about him. I know his brother's like a two-way guy for... Or is he on a two-way? He's a two-way guy for the Raptors. And he went back. And I actually thought... I think this is what I thought. I think that I thought that the one that stayed in college was better. I mix them up, though. They're twins, you know what I mean? Or very similar names. Justin and Julian Champagny. But...
Yeah.
Like, the thing is with them is they can score the ball and they have some size. So any like sizable three that has some off the dribble ability and like can score the ball is always somewhat intriguing to me in that range of the draft. Eric, what do you think?
Yes. Yeah, especially if you get them in the second round, those guys are always worth a flyer as long as they have some sort of skill that's translatable to the NBA. That's what we always talk about when we talk about Watford's projections, right? He has the ability to put the ball on the floor. He can finish around the basket. He can pass a little bit. So, like, that's a guy you take a flyer on, whether it be in the second round or with a two-way. So, yeah, absolutely, that is the kind of guy you would look at. He'd also probably fall because, you know, he's been in college for 3 years, and those kind of guys seem to slip because of age, and people want the 19-year-old prospects versus the 20 to 22-year-old ones that are already, they think, reached their potential or whatever. So, yeah, I would absolutely look at guys like that who can create their own shot or have some sort of discernible skill to build upon in that range.
But, yeah, like, I've watched him a lot. He can score from all three levels. He's 6'7". I think he's got, like, an 8'11" standing reach.
Yeah.
So, like, to play the 3 or the 4 and provide scoring. Yeah, punch off the bench. I like that. Why have you watched him so much? Are you like, where does he play? St.
John's.
Yeah, are you like a St. John's fan, or just is that guy you like, or?
No, I mean, I've watched them play a lot because I watch a lot of Big East basketball.
Yeah, gotcha.
But, yeah.
Respect that,
He just
man.
intrigues me, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, join us for draft. We're going to get busy with the draft talk, man, and I always enjoy talking prospects with people that, you know, are willing to watch, you know, some Big East St. Joe's basketball and talk about guys like that. So that's a fun conversation if we keep our second round pick is like, you know, we got the top of the draft and whatnot, but then also we'll have that range in the draft to look at some guys. And, I mean, you just look at, like, Herb Jones got drafted with the 35th pick last year. You could get a legitimate player that could help you next year in that range of the draft. And he would be one of those guys that I think maybe could help a team right away.
Yeah, I'm here for that. I watch a lot of, like, Big East and, like, Big Ten. I watch a lot of that basketball, so, yeah.
What do you think of Johnny Davis?
What?
What do you think of Johnny Davis?
I like Johnny Davis. I haven't watched much of Wisconsin, but I've
I-
seen him play, and I like his game.
I have a draft crush on Johnny Davis.
Yeah. Do you want to say where he ranks on your big board right now, Eric?
What?
Do you want to say where he ranks on your big board right now, Eric?
I'll admit it right now. I mean, like I said, I want to see the tourney, and this is going to change a lot between now and the draft. But right now, I have Johnny Davis as my number 2 prospect. I know I'm on an extreme island there, but I have him number 2 behind Jabari.
And then 3, you have Ivy.
I like
Right.
Ivy.
3 through 5 is very, very. Like I, at any moment, would like one of those guys more than the other. But obviously, the Blazers, it's not. I don't want to guard for the Blazers, so yeah.
I mean, my question is, what's the difference between Johnny Davis and Chris Duarte? I'm not saying there is none. I'm looking for you to differentiate the two.
Well, I guess Johnny Davis is younger, but yeah, we just talked about that, right? I just like his composure. I think, like, when you talk about scoring at all levels, I like his, I think his defense is better than Duarte, a lot better than Duarte's.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I just think that guy's like a competitor that's bound to be, like, I don't think with his type of mindset and his improvement this year, like, I don't think there's any chance he's not good at the next level. That's just what I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. So anyway, anything else you got, John?
That's about it for now. But thanks for talking.
Yeah,
Thanks for the question. You have a good one.
Yep.
Cool. Man.
All right, so Fuchs is up next, and then Tori, I think, can take it back.
Veeks in chat, since he's joining our space right now, Veeks in chat said, "Yo, WTF, he had 4 points the other day."
You're talking about Johnny Davis?
I knew you were high on him, but I didn't know you had a number 2. It's kind of crazy.
I'm going to stir up an argument here.
Yeah. Hey, man,
Eric, that was the fakest laugh I've ever heard you.
don't you appreciate the boldness?
Oh, absolutely. I respect it. I don't agree with it, but I respect it.
Oh, we'll see.
We're going to go back on this 5 years later, and Eric's going to point at that, like, see, I told you. He's like the next Kobe. Anyway, what you got for us, Veeks?
First thing is, like, I want to say that I'm very thankful that very few people were watching the game tonight. I mean, primarily for the reason, or primarily speaking to like the main highlight accounts on social media, because CJ Labiat got absolutely destroyed by Mo Bamba, and I hadn't seen it on like a major account, so I'm thankful for that. I was gonna ask a trade question, but I was just gonna skip to something that's been like on my mind. I saw that on like the I don't know what you call it, like before the game, they did like a little courtside thing with Justice Winslow, and he said his goal for the season was to have a triple-double. I wanted to hear his thoughts on that, because I thought that was hilarious.
I didn't know that, but I mean, if you're gonna go play for a tanking team, that might as well be your goal. That's funny. So he's gonna be hunting triple doubles to help his tank. I respect that. That's good, right?
He's our wait, would it be worse or better version of Westbrook?
Maybe we should trade him for him in. Oh, we couldn't even trade for Westbrook at this point unless we trade Dame, because we don't have the salary left to match his contract. So, dude, imagine if that's how this trade deadline went.
Put into the atmosphere, please.
You don't want Westbrook on your Portland Trailblazers? You don't want Westbrook, Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow. We just need to go out and get Julius Randle too while we're at it. Who else would fit that team, Eric?
Well, like I said, just put Hassan Whiteside at center.
Hassan Whiteside is at small forward. All right, he's a shooter. Eric, respect his shot.
We got shooters.
Chat, let us know who else belongs on that team.
Tori, if we were in the same room, I would punch you in the face right now.
I'd duck that, and then I'd run.
All right.
Anyway, what were you saying, Peak? Sorry, I got sidetracked.
I don't even remember. All I gotta say is a lineup with mini LeBron and Eric Bledsoe and half of Dame and Blevins is kind of nice. I don't know. That's all.
Oh, I mean, I'm down, bro. Did you hear Eric's idea earlier?
I don't remember.
Go
ahead.
It was to play Blevins like he's Dame and then just keep everything else normal. So, like, you play Ant with Dame in quotation marks, and then you play Nurk like he's playing with Dame, and then next year, when it's actually Dame instead of Blevins, and then you're like, oh my god, we're so good. Like, this is so awesome because everything's easier.
That was this idea at the start of the stream. I was dying. I'm down for the entertainment value, and it's like long-term going to make the team better. I'm absolutely down for it. Anyway, I don't know where this is.
We can see Greg Brown hunt posters like all game. He tried like 4 or 5 dunk attempts in the first 2 quarters.
Dude, he plays like somebody, you know, like, have you ever gone to the gym and there's like hoops across from each other? Normally they're sideways, but they're lower, and you play like back and forth on like 8-foot rims or 8.5-foot rims, and you're just trying to dunk literally everything. That's how Greg Brown plays. I mean, he hit a couple threes, but outside of shooting, he shot 7 tonight. That's crazy. But outside of shooting, that's how he plays. He just wants to dunk. So that's what that reminds me of. Anyway, I don't know where this call's gone. This call's gone all over the place. Anything else you want to finish us off with?
Triple doubles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you got to finish?
I don't have anything else. This is gonna be a fun next couple months to the end of the season.
I'm looking forward to it, man, and I appreciate your calls. They're enjoyable. So have a good rest of the night, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Feeks. All right, now Amar's up next.
Okay, cool. Now I still can't add him. Okay, well, I don't know what's going on. I don't know where my...
Zach, do you want to add Amar?
Yeah, add Amar. This has been a phenomenal Twitter space so far.
And then we'll wrap up with Shervin next. Oh, no. Did Amar go away?
No, he's there. What's up?
Oh, I'm here. I was just waiting. I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, you're all good. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Oh, how you guys doing?
Doing good.
Too bad. How about yourself?
Yeah, well, I can say I also didn't watch the game. But I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my bearings after I heard that whole thing about running, you know who, as if he was Dame. Anyway.
Bro, do you play basketball?
I played. Stopped. I played college for a bit.
Yeah.
I'm up in Canada, so it's not the same, but.
Right, but can you imagine playing with like the worst player in the NBA, and he was playing like the entire game, like he played in 48 minutes. But then next year, you have like the best player in your franchise history taking those same reps, and like the game would just be so much easier. You don't agree?
You're gonna trick some people into.
Maybe you would feel that way. I don't know.
Might as well just sign me and let me play Nurk's role, honestly. And then they can have a big man who doesn't dunk or rebound or block shots.
I'm Nurk.
So
Nurk,
I was
you can be someone else.
Go ahead, Amar.
So I was just piggybacking. I wanted to say something about that OKC thing that was brought up earlier. In looking back at that OKC roster, I was gonna say something about Derek Favors, so I'm glad you guys brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also thinking, like, depending on how they value Darius Bazley, that might also be an interesting concept, as opposed to Kendrick Williams.
Yeah, he'd be a buy low guy. See, like, that's the thing is whatever. Like, we sell low and then buy high. I would be down for a buy low guy if they wanted to get rid of Bazley. You know what I mean? If they were willing to trade Bazley for a second round pick, I'd do it because I always believed in his talent. I've always been high on him. He just hasn't panned out, but he's gotten better defensively. So if his offense can never catch up, I'm intrigued by him. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like his work ethic. I like the way he plays. That being said,
he has some very honest comments. I don't know, last night or the night before, he's basically said he knows he sucks and can't shoot, and he's trying to get better and stuff. I thought it was really good. Like he had very grounded comments.
Yeah, and he's still only 21, so.
Yeah. He also fits Ant's timeline, if that's something that unfortunately ends up happening. But
yeah. It's like, what are you going to get with a second-round pick? You're going to get a guy like him who's like maybe very raw, or they're already, 23 years old, right? But if they have potential long-term, they're probably going to be very raw and going to need multiple years of seasoning. Why not just trade that for a guy who already has had 3 years of seasoning and is still struggling, but might be closer to a breakout and has maybe as much talent as anybody you could get with like a early second-round pick? Like, I'm down for that.
Yeah. I honestly think, like, I don't know. It makes sense to be shopping around Alexander Walker and Keon to some of these teams like the Rockets and the Pacers and the Spurs, and because I mean, for all we know, these teams are kind of in the gutter right now. They might actually see some sort of value in these players and try to, like, I know the Spurs are known for taking players as projects and trying to make something of them, but in general, that I feel like that's what should be done, because it does, like, our roster doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I also, like, this is one thing I wanted to talk about, because I know most of the prospects in the draft are power forwards or kind of combo forwards, but free agency this offseason is not the best, to put it lightly. Most of the players that are big names are going to resign probably. The only one that I can think of that I think might leave is Miles Bridges. But based on what we're trying to go for in the draft, feels like there's positional overlap there, but I feel like he could play small forward.
Well, so you don't think Charlotte would match?
I think they would, but I mean, they're going to have to pay LaMelo.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's next year, right?
Yeah.
This is the second year, right?
Let me double check.
I
might
tripping?
be tripping.
I thought
yeah, I might also be tripping, so I don't know. But
no, this is the second year. Yeah, this is the second year. So they got 2 more years left.
They still have 2 more years. Yeah.
And they can pay them both. I mean, it just depends on, like, I don't think they give up Miles Bridges unless they get something legitimate back. Like, if they didn't plan on paying him a max, I feel like they would just trade him at the deadline this year.
Here's the more likely.
Sorry, go ahead, Eric. Sorry.
I would say it's more likely to pick off teams that are worried about for other parts. So, for example, the Hornets example, I think they would be much more likely to dump us a Gordon Hayward or something like that for free, basically, if they're worried about money, than not matching on a Miles Bridges. That would be my thing.
Yeah, so the problem is we can't match for Gordon Hayward.
I'm just saying, in terms of if we had cap space to do that kind of stuff, it would probably be more realistic to think along those terms of getting players that teams are trying to save money by getting rid of, and you can get at a cheap price like a Norman Powell and a Robert Covington and those kind of things.
Yeah. See, that's why the $20.8 million traded player exception has value this summer, because if there's a team looking to get rid of like a solid player, maybe a player just as good as Nance, maybe they're a little bit better, but they want the cap space for whatever reason, and that player's making like $18 million, we can just absorb them, maybe give back a second or whatever, but we can absorb their contract without having to trade anything else out, and then that team saves that money because they don't have to take anything back. So that's how the $20.8 million TPE from the CJ trade could be valuable this offseason. And it's like we could do a trade like that where we don't even need cap space to do it.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking about Jeremy Grant is just
not fun.
I just know it's not fun. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that. We're all in the same boat. I mean, except for the people that love Jeremy Grant for some reason, they're in a different boat somewhere.
I just think seeing how he played this year kind of took all of the positive light that I saw, just kind of took it all away.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anyway, anything else you got, man?
Honestly, Miles Bridges was my last footnote. I'm more here to listen, so I appreciate that.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for calling in, man. Hope you
Have a good night tomorrow. Thank you.
For sure. You guys too.
All right. And then we'll talk to Shervin, and that'll wrap up the space. Zach, if you can switch them
Good
out.
old Shervin.
Let's hear how Shervin feels about his favorite player, CJ, getting traded. Shervin, how do you feel?
Guys, I'm really sad right now. I'm gonna be honest.
No, dude, that's so fake.
I swear, I'm not even kidding. I really just shed a few tears, but I'm be real.
But you're smiling right now.
Nah, now I am. I was reading the Dame post, and I was damn, man.
So, Shervin,
I'm sad.
You wanted CJ traded. You said at one point it did not matter what we got back. You wanted him gone. Are you happy with this trade today?
Am I happy with the compensation or that he got traded?
With the trade.
Both.
All encompassing, the deal.
I mean, if we didn't put Nance in it, I would have said it was a good trade, but I think it was like a decent trade. I don't like that we put Nance. Like a C plus, B minus.
See, what did I give it earlier, Eric? A C?
I think I gave it a C, depending on what we did with the assets, I guess.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I think if they didn't put Nance in, it would have been like at least a B. But.
See, if we were able to use the TPE we got from putting Nance in it, because we would have gotten a $20.8 million TPE from CJ if we didn't include Nance in the trade. If we can make value out of that traded player exception, maybe that makes sense to just throw Nance into it for the hell of it. If we can extract more value out of the TPE.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on what they do from here.
Don't trade Robert Covington and include him instead, and then.
Yeah, or that, and then you still have Nance, and you still have the same TPE, that would be logical, but... Yikes, yeah.
What do we know?
What you got for us, Shervin?
No, nothing. I just, people are, in the chat, they're, mad at me for some reason.
Why are they mad at you, bro?
I don't know, but listen, CJ...
Jackson says, get out of here, Shervin.
Hey,
Veek says, let's go,
Jackson
Shervin.
also says, cry me a river, Shervin.
I'm actually sad. I'm not even kidding. The last time I saw the Blazers without CJ, I was 8. Literally my whole childhood. It was Dame and CJ. So
yeah, man. I mean, try growing up during Brandon Roy and Greg Oden, and that was
sad
tough.
day, man.
But you got Carson standing for you. Carson says Shervin closing us out. LFG.
Hey, there we go.
I love you, Shervin. So Carson's
Much
your
love.
guy. I feel for you, Sherv.
Carson loves everyone, though.
Yeah, Carson loves everyone.
Almost like just kidding.
Or not, if you take that as a compliment. Anyway, so I'm sorry, chat was hating on you. What were you gonna say?
Oh, about what?
Oh, you were about to say something.
Oh yeah. You guys think Josh Hart can start at the 3, or he's gonna come off the bench?
What's his standing reach?
I mean, let me just put it this way: Josh Hart is capable of guarding forwards. That's not an issue if he does start at the small forward. I wouldn't use that as the long-term plan. I really like him as a third guard, kind of a secondary ball handler / defender next to either a Dame or Ant when they're on one of those two are on the bench, and can play some minutes at the small forward, which I don't think has any problems. He has any problems doing.
Yeah.
So
I will say this.
I think it's fine. I don't know if I'd start him there, but yeah.
Yeah, he can play some spot minutes there. His standing reach is 1.5 inches shorter than Norman Powell's, for what it's worth, in case anybody was curious about that. So he can play, third guard, and then if he's, playing really well next year, then, he can play all the backup guard minutes, right? Maybe that's 25, 26 minutes a game. Of course, if he's on our team. But then maybe he
for
can...
nothing.
Yeah. How does he guard the ball?
Pretty good.
Pretty decent, yeah.
Probably would be our best on-ball defender.
Almost every defensive metric, he looks pretty good.
Nice.
He's definitely our best guard defender since Wes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. I mean, he only makes 12 mil, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's worth that deal. That's why I can't stand people saying, "Oh, we're just gonna cut him after the season." Like, why
fire
would we
they
cut
do?
him? You're
What
getting
deal is
nothing
that?
for him.
Well, he did have some problems with the Pelicans and the way they negotiated his deal and stuff, so I don't know.
Bro, they scammed him, man. Look,
Yeah, it's
12
a weird
mil
deal.
a year.
Yeah, it's a weird deal.
What is he?
but-
He's locked up for like what, 3 years?
Yeah, but it's like non-guaranteed next year, so like whatever team could cut him, and then like the year after, isn't it like a player option?
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
Yeah, you can get out of it this summer, but then it becomes a team option. So you're basically, unless he opts out, opting into 2 years of Josh Hart. If you people, yeah.
Anyway, what else you got, Sherman? We gotta run this along. If you got anything else.
What are we doing at center? Like, we have no
Keeping
type of big man.
Nurkic, re-signing Nurkic.
Besides him, what do we have?
A second round pick for a center. Maybe like a Koloko or Mark Williams falls to there. Maybe a Walker Kessler. And like all three of those guys, I don't know if I would hate having them as a backup center next year.
I got you.
So, I mean, just got to do more scouting on those type of guys, though. And you can always sign a minimum center, you know. Like we signed Cody Zeller to a minimum. Ennis Cantor has been on a minimum. You know, Zeller was supposed to be better.
Ennis who? Keep that. We don't want that.
Ennis Cantor.
No, I'm playing.
Ennis Cantor. I ain't saying anything but Ennis Cantor. Anyway.
you know the routine. It's Boston, Portland, Boston, you know? So
yeah, so he's going to be a backup center next
keep
year.
Keep that energy away.
Anyway, man. Good to talk to you, bro.
Good to talk to you. Later.
Have a good night, Sherman.
Have a good one.
Okay, so I said that was going to be our last caller, but Brady's trying to call in, and Brady donated. Let me thank the donos and get Brady up on here, and we'll talk to Brady, and we'll round things out. Where's the dono at? Dro had a $2 dono, says Ant is only going to get better, don't sleep. Nobody's sleeping on Ant, Dro. We love Ant. You know that. Appreciate you for the dono. And then Rip City Brady, $5 dono. He says, Discord tonight. Well, you get to talk to us in the space, too. You're not working tomorrow, Brady, or what's going on, man?
No, I'm not working tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah. Yo, end of an...
Oh.
What the heck? What happened? Are we good?
I think Zach...
You're good now.
End of an era, man.
I can't unmute.
For sure.
CJ's gone. That's crazy.
I can't unmute.
I like your idea, Eric, with the Blevins Dame thing. I think that would be solid. Like, maybe have Blevins try to hit a game winner, you know? I saw something that says we might try to get Ben Simmons this summer. I don't really understand that with Jeremy Grant, Ben Simmons, and then, I don't know.
If we get Grant, we have no chance. If we take any salary on right now for next year, we have no chance of getting Simmons. Even if we don't, it's pretty much, we kind of broke this down earlier on the stream. It's pretty much impossible. And then you'd have to rely on them having the perfect compensation back as well. I just don't think it's realistic.
Yeah, I don't know. Jeremy Grant doesn't really get me excited. Like, so.
Eric, I
it's
can't
just a
unmute
weird
my
place to
mic in
be
the
as a
space,
Blazers
so-
fan, I guess.
I can't mute my mic in the space, so just finish this conversation, then we'll wrap up the stream.
All right. Sounds like Tori's having some technical difficulties, Brady. Do you have anything else?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right, man. You have a good night. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, later, man.
Alright, yeah, I don't know what was happening with that. I don't know why it was glitchy for me tonight, but I think Zach accidentally muted everyone or something, or maybe it was you. I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but it muted everyone. I couldn't unmute my mic, so. Anyway, that wraps up our Twitter space. Phenomenal Twitter space. Really enjoyable. Anything else for this post-game stream tonight, Eric?
No, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in and for watching our stream earlier if you did. Still lots of content this week. We'll have a Blazers Uprise live show on our secondary channel tomorrow. And, of course, if there's another trade, we'll, of course, go live with that as soon as we can. And then, post-game show tomorrow night after the Lakers game. And then Thursday, starting at 8 a.m. Pacific time, will be live till a little bit past the trade deadline. As all the trades filter through, we'll talk about each one, even if it doesn't relate to the Blazers. It's a lot of fun, and I hope all of you can join us then.
Yep. Good plugs, Eric. Good outro stuff. I don't even have anything else to say other than hopefully you have a good rest of your night until we catch you next. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.